Naruto God Level System, Chapter 161-180. Chapter 161 Step into the 6 Paths Level. After playing enough, Hyuga-chen took out 3 bottles of potions and handed them to Kushina, Tsunade, and Konan. Makoto already has a perfect sage body, so there is no need for this potion at all. Although Kushina and Tsunade also have a sage body, their sage body is not a perfect sage body at all. This is. Tsunade opened the bottle cap and took a deep breath, feeling the cells in his body tremble with excitement. Remember the potion I gave Makoto back then? That's the thing, but it's not the same as what Makoto used. This potion can only get a perfect sage body. Hyuga-chan explained softly. Perfect sage body. Tsunade drank the potion in one sip, and then felt his body numb slightly, and his cells were dozens of times more active than before. What a powerful potion. I feel that the power has increased a lot, and chakra is inexhaustible like the sea. Tsunade clenched his fist and said. Among the girls, Tsunade is not strong. Except for the young Konan, Tsunade is the weakest. Makoto has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan plus perfect sage body, and also sage mode. The strength deserves to be the strongest. Kushina has rock berries, and also learns sage mode. Its strength is second only to Makoto. Tsunade is a bit weaker than Makoto and Kushina. So now Tsunade really wants to improve his strength, not to mention overpowering Makoto and Kushina. At least he can't be weaker than them, otherwise, where will the face of his big sister be? Tsunade also learned sage mode before, but unfortunately he didn't, which made Tsunade very discouraged. Now that she saw the potion that would make her stronger, Tsunade took it without saying a word. On the other side, Kushina and Konan also took the medicine, and the one who felt the biggest change was Konan. She didn't have too much chakra before, but it increased wildly hundreds of times, which shocked Konan herself. Konan used to be just Jonin's chakra, but now the chakra is more than 10 times that of cage level, so there is no need to use a powerful ninjutsu and calculate the amount of chakra as before. Kushina threw a punch and made a smashing sound. She has already entered the super cage level now. Although the perfect sage body is useful to her, it does not have an exaggerated effect. Hyuga-chan had drawn it himself, and with what Shueheim gave him, Hyuga-chan still has 8 bottles of sage body potions. These 8 bottles, Hyuga-chan plans to give Naoki 1 bottle another day, and keep the rest for now. Makoto, don't cook for me, I still have something to do. Hyuga-chen said to Makoto before teleporting away. Coming to a deserted island, Hyuga-chen sat down with his knees crossed, released 2 corpse puppets, and manipulated them to be vigilant around him. Then the mental power sank into the body, ignoring the chakra of the 9-tailed beast in the body, and looked at the chakra of Otsutsuki Hamura. Although you can use Otsutsuki Hamura's chakra as you like, but it's not mine, so there's no need to keep it now. Technique God Eater. Hyuga-chen devoured Otsutsuki Hamura's chakra frantically. Don't look at it as a small group in Hyuga-chen's body. In fact, this group of chakra is more than Kyubi, 9 tails chakra, but it was compressed and sealed by Hyuga-chen. With the continuous devouring, Hyuga-chen's chakra began to undergo qualitative changes. After Hyuga-chen was completely swallowed, the boundless aura overwhelmed the sea, and the whole island trembled for a long time before it stopped. Hyuga-chan is covered with a white robe, a black tomo appears at the neckline, and 12 black Gudodama truth-seeking ball float behind him. Relying on Otsutsuki Hamura's chakra, Hyuga-chen completely stepped into the 6 paths level, although only for the first time. Feeling the once again strengthened body, the huge and almost infinite chakra, Hyuga-chen let out a loud roar, and the sound caused waves to appear in the sea, setting off waves of more than 10 meters. Hyuga-chen stood up. His clothes, including Gudodama truth-seeking ball, disappeared. Hyuga-chen could not be wearing a white robe, with a few Gudodama truth-seeking ball floating behind him running around the street. That would be too pretentious. Out the Kekemora scroll that had been kept for a long time, Hyuga-chen just wanted to use it, but found that he couldn't use it at all. Immediately dodged to the system space and finds Snowheim. Snowheim, how do you use this scroll? I thought it was a big deal. Just use it in your mind. Shuiheim shook his head speechlessly. Oh, Hyuga Chen nodded, then silently used it. Scroll turned into blue light and melted into the body, and the 7 chakras in Hyuga-chan's body simply merged with each other, forming the supreme Keke Mora, who reached the realm of God. I won't bother you anymore. After saying Hyuga Chen, he left the system space. Shuiheim was stunned for a moment, then scolded softly, this bastard, running away when he runs out of people, is really worthless. Leaving the system space, Hyuga Chen used his 6 paths level power on the sea. After Hyuga Chen stopped, the sea level dropped by half a meter. I didn't expect to be promoted to the 6 paths level by swallowing the chakra of Otsutsuki Hamura. Hyuga-chan lay on the beach and said silently. Although he has entered the 6 paths level, this does not mean that Hyuga-chen will give up the previous plan. Now Hyuga-chen is only entering the 6 paths for the first time, and he is still far from the peak of the 6 paths. If light compares to chakra, Hyuga-chen can't even compare to 6 paths Madara, and he will continue to work hard now. Although the combat power is unmatched, it does not mean that he will give up to improve his strength, and no one will give up if he can improve his strength. Snowheim, can you hear me? I can hear you, I can see everything about you, what's up with you now? Yuki-heim's voice reached Hyugatatsu's ears. You can see everything, you can see it when I do that. Hyuga-chen suddenly sat up from the beach. Bah, who would watch you do that kind of thing? I'm afraid of irritating eyes. Snowheim in the system space pursed Yuhi's cheek and snorted softly. He looked very cute, but it was a pity that Hyuga-chan couldn't see it. That's not necessarily. Who knows if you'll peek? Humph. The system can block, you can choose to block. Shuiheim snorted and said dissatisfied. Forget it, I'm afraid you won't be able to see my handsome face, and then it will be bad for you to suffer from depression. Hyuga-chen lay down again and said with his legs crossed. Don't go to the 3 treasures hall for anything, do you have anything to do with me? Shuiheim wasn't going to talk to him. I have to find you for something. Can't I chat with you? Hee. Shuiheim's sneer came, making Hyuga-chen very embarrassed. It's really a bit of a problem. I have a problem with these 2 puppets. I want them to be the same as the intelligent robots in the movie. What can I do? Hyuga-chen said slightly embarrassedly. I know that I will give you 2 smart chips and put them in their bodies. I have already deducted the 200,000 exchange points for you. Hey, how can you make up your own mind? Hyuga-chen shouted a few times, but it was a pity that Shuiheim ignored him at all. Chapter 162 Get Hidemitsu Kotoamatsukami. Why are they bugs? I'm not being deceived, right? Where's the smart chip? Hyuga-chen was holding 2 mechanical bug-like things, wondering if he was tricked by Shuiheim. What do you think it is? It's okay if it's easy to use. Shuiheim said dissatisfiedly. Then how is this thing used? I have already set it up for you. Now you only need to put the mechanical bugs into their bodies, and they will recognize you as the master and follow your orders. Shuiheim's voice came. It's so simple, you said it earlier. It took me half a day to study it. Deserved, Shuiheim whispered happily. Hyuga-chen controlled Otsutsuki Hamura and Uchiha Chingcheng to come over and put 2 mechanical bugs on them. 2 mechanical bugs quickly drilled into their bodies, and then manipulated the 2 bodies. Master. The 2 bowed to Hyuga-chen and saluted. Mechanical voice, emotionless voice, bad review. Hyuga-chen snorted slightly. You have a lot of problems, there are better ones in the system, just the exchange points you have accumulated, you can afford better ones, now let's live with this one. Shuiheim's voice appeared in 263 feet's mind middle. Hyuga-chen felt like he was hit hard. I want to complain to you, but you actually look down on me and think I'm poor. Hyuga-chen, who felt his glass heart was hit hard, roared in his mind. Aren't you poor? Shuiheim's words were like a sharp sword. piercing Hyuga Chen's little heart, causing 10,000 tons of damage to Hyuga Chen, feeling very heart-piercing. One day, I'm going to become a rich man. When that time comes, I will directly buy universes, buy one and throw one away. Hyuga Chen secretly vowed in his heart. After that, Hyuga Chen stopped talking to Shui Haim, and looked at Uchiha Chingcheng, precisely to Uchiha Chingcheng's left eye. Uchiha Chingcheng's left eye is Koto Amatsukumi's pupil technique, which Hyuga Chen wanted very much in his heart. Take off your left eye. After thinking about it, Hyuga Chen looked at Uchiha Chingcheng Road. Yes, master. Uchiha Chingcheng cut out his left eye with a blank expression, and handed it to Hyuga Chen. Otsutsuki Hamura, you create a Byakugan for Uchiha Chingcheng. Hyuga Chen ordered. But Otsutsuki Hamura still didn't move, as if he hadn't heard. Hyuga Chen was stunned. This guy can't be pregnant. It is said that the system produced by the good system must be a high-quality product. So broken. Shui Haim, I'm not being deceived by you, right? Why didn't Otsutsuki Hamura obey orders at all? It's not a malfunction, is it? What you gave me is not a defective product, right? Hyuga Chen complained in his mind. Nonsense, they don't have a name at all now. You call your name randomly, how do they know who you are calling? Shui Haim said tenderly. Is that so? Hyuga Chen scratched his head. From now on, you will be called Otsutsuki Hamura, and you will be called Uchiha Chingcheng. Hyuga Chen pointed to the two and said. Yes, master. The two nodded dumbly, then fell silent. What do I think of them being stupid? Are you sure this is intelligence? Isn't this a fool? Hyuga Chen asked Shui Haim in his mind. They are now equivalent to human babies. Except for executing your orders, they are ignorant and ignorant. This requires them to learn by themselves. Shui Haim said. It's so troublesome. Hyuga Chen shook his head, feeling that this smart chip was too bad. Don't you know that there are no good things for cheap, but this smart chip is actually pretty good and durable. Shui Haim's words left Hyuga Chen speechless. After all, he is not saying that he is poor. Does he want to be so poor? The key is that Hyuga Chen couldn't find a way to exchange points. Hyuga Chen doesn't want to talk to Shui Haim anymore, and always likes to expose his shortcomings. Sharingan in his hand, Hyuga Chen devoured the Sharingan with God Eater. By swallowing this Sharingan, Hyuga Chen got the Koto Amatsukumi, which is known as the strongest demonic illusion. At Uchiha Chingcheng, who has been replaced by Byakugan, Hyuga Chen frowned slightly, feeling very awkward. Hyuga Chen has a bit of obsessive-compulsive disorder, and looking at Uchiha Chingcheng's different eyes, he is very uncomfortable. So under the order of Hyuga Chen, Uchiha Chingcheng dug out another Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and then let Otsutsuki Hamura create Byakugan to replace it for him. At this time, Hyuga Chen felt much more comfortable. But with a pair of Byakugan, is he still Uchiha? Hyuga Chen didn't care. He drove the two of them away, and let them travel to the world of ninja to learn the wisdom of human beings, at least not like they are now, like big fools. Looking at the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in his hand, Hyuga Chen used the devourer to devour this eye as well, and it was useless to keep one eye. The pupil technique of this eye is Tsukuyomi. After swallowing this eye, Hyuga Chen felt that his pupil technique Tsukuyomi seemed to be stronger, and his pupil power also increased a little, but it was almost negligible. Looking at the sky, the sun was about to set, and Hyuga Chen was ready to go back. When they got home, Makoto and the others were having dinner. It smells so good, my saliva is drooling. Hyuga Chen quickly came to the front of the dining table, and was stopped by Makoto just as he was about to start. Go wash your hands first. Makoto glared at Hyuga Chen and said softly. Yes, my wife. Hyuga Chen said funny. After eating, Tsunade asked curiously, what are you doing out of breath? I feel like you have changed a bit. Of course, to break through. Have you broken through to a higher level? Kushina asked with his mouth open in surprise. Who is this young master? Xiaolang-kun from Yushu Linfang, just relying on a handsome word, it is shocking to the past, breaking through is not trivial. Hyuga-chen fluttered his hair and said coquettishly. Kushina clenched his fist and slapped him lightly, then said in a coquettish voice, looking at your virtue, it's really annoying. Hyuga-chen stretched out his arms and hugged Kushina, with his left arm around Kushina and his right arm around Makoto, laughing loudly, to celebrate my breakthrough in strength, we will have a big quilt tonight. Tsunade's three daughters' faces, Yuhi, didn't mean to resist. In the past 3 years, they have been eaten cleanly, and it is common for them to sleep together, and the 3 daughters are used to it. But it is impossible to say not to be shy, but if you are shy, you have to go to bed together, otherwise they will be alone, and they will not be able to get out of bed because of Hyuga-chan. The big quilt sleeps with me, including me. Conan pointed at himself dumbfoundedly, with a hint of panic and hilarity on his face. Ah, Conan, you are still young, let's talk about it when you grow up. Hyuga-chen reached out and touched Conan's head, and said earnestly. Conan is still a loli now, and Hyuga-chen is very scumbag, but he will not attack Conan. Cough cough. No matter what, you have to raise it for 2 years first, and it will not be too late to start at that time. Conan lowered his head in disappointment. Actually I've grown up, Conan whispered, his voice low. After eating, before Makoto could clear the table, Hyuga-chen took Tsunade, Makoto, and Kushina back to the room, and had no sleep tonight. Cough cough. The specific plot is my own brain. Chapter 163 Terumi Mei. White Zetsu, are you sure it's here? Hyuga-chen asked indifferently. That's right, Terumi Mei, whom Tatsu-sama asked to look for, lives here. White Zetsu said respectfully. Well, it's none of your business here. Hyuga-chen nodded, then motioned for White Zetsu to get out. White Zetsu nodded hurriedly, and then left quickly. He didn't want to stay with Hyuga-chen tilde. Tisk tisk, cute Terumi Mei little loli, here I come. Hyuga-chen quickly sneaked into the big mansion in front and started, looking for Terumi Mei. Soon Hyuga-chen was at an artificial lake and found Terumi Mei who was still a little loli. Lovely little sister, what are you doing sitting by the lake, it's very dangerous. Hyuga-chen reached out and picked up Terumi Mei from behind, startling Terumi Mei. Who are you and what are you trying to do to break into my house? Terumi Mei struggled anxiously, but the opponent's hand was like a big pincer, and Terumi Mei couldn't break free. Little sister, I think you have good qualifications, and I came here to accept you as a disciple and teach you to become the #1 female ninja in the ninja world. Hyuga-chen said with a teasing. Humph, shameless, lolicon, die pervert. Shueheim snorted coldly in the system space, and words full of endless contempt entered Hyuga-chen's mind. Whoever said I belong to lolicon, I'm clearly in full control. Hyuga-chen retorted angrily. Snoheim was speechless. Let go of me, I don't need your teaching, I'm very good, be careful I hit you. Terumi Mei shouted in a tender voice. Unfortunately, her constantly waving limbs made her words very unconvincing. Hyuga-chen gave a weird laugh, then took out the sage body potion and poured it into Terumi Mei. Hey, little sister, I fed you poison, you'd better not move, only I can cure this poison. Hyuga-chen threatened with a strange smile. Laughing really wretched, bullying the little girl, you are a real scum. Shueheim's disdainful voice came. Hyuga-chen shrugged, ignoring Shueheim's words. What happened to the scumbag? I'm a scumbag and I'm proud, can I open a harem if I'm not a scumbag? Terumi Mei really believed Hyuga-chen's threat, tears flowed from her eyes, and she thought pitifully, she is so young, is she going to die? So unwilling, Terumi Mei is very unwilling, she is only 10 years old, will she be poisoned to death and end her life? Can you give me the antidote, I don't want to die, woohoo tilde, Terumi Mei cried. Don't cry, if you cry again, I won't give you the antidote, and then you will be poisoned to death. Those who are poisoned by this poison are all dark-faced, their corpses are rotting, and there are no bones left. I don't think you want to die so miserably. Hyuga-chen threatened without any morals. I don't cry anymore, can you let me go? Terumi Mei sobbed. I can let you go, but if you dare to run, hee. I don't need to say more about the consequences. Hyuga Chen let go of Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei, who was freed from the confinement, immediately turned around and looked at Hyuga Chen. At this time, she really saw what Hyuga Chen looked like. What a handsome eldest brother, it would be great if I could marry him in the future. Terumi Mei's eyes flashed with heart, and she looked dazed. I have to say that the girls in Hokage are really precocious. Then Terumi Mei shook her head and came back to her senses. The other party was a big bad guy, how could she have a good impression of a big bad guy? Then what's your purpose? If you need money, I have it in my family. Don't hurt me, otherwise, my family won't let you go. Terumi Mei threatened with lack of confidence. You still dare to threaten me, believe it or not, I'll just leave and let you die of poison. Hyuga Chen glared at Terumi Mei, savagely. Terumi Mei shook her head in fear, her eyes were misty, and she looked at Hyuga Chen pitifully. Follow me. Hyuga Chen reached out and took Terumi Mei's little hand, and walked outside. Well, if you go out like this, you will be caught. Terumi Mei reminded. After that, Terumi Mei secretly scolded herself for being stupid. I didn't expect you to worry about me. It's okay, no one in this world can catch me. Hyuga Chen smiled confidently, then pulled Terumi Mei away. They did meet a lot of people along the way, but everyone ignored them as if they didn't see them. Terumi Mei was also at a loss when she saw this scene. Until she left her house, Terumi Mei didn't come back to her senses. Let's go. Hyuga Chen bent down and picked up Terumi Mei, soaring into the sky. Looking at Shirakumo in the blue sky and the small crowd below, Terumi Mei also felt a novelty. No matter how precocious she was just a little girl, and the feeling of flying made her very excited. Being excited for a long time, Terumi Mei asked Hyuga Chen, where are you taking me? Abduct you and sell it, do you believe it? Hyuga Chen asked with a smile. I don't believe it, I wasn't poisoned at all, right? Terumi Mei shook her head, her eyes sparkling with intelligence. Oh, how did you find out that you weren't poisoned? Hyuga Chen looked at Terumi Mei in his arms curiously. I guessed right, I really didn't get poisoned. Terumi Mei said excitedly, her excitement was broken. It was actually her guess just now. After Terumi Mei calmed down, she checked her body. Not only did she find no signs of poisoning, but her chakra increased greatly, and her physical strength became much stronger. I guessed it. I didn't expect that you are not stupid enough to know how to deceive me, but I'm very upset, what do you say? Hyuga Chen stopped from the air and looked at Terumi Mei with a gloomy face. Like to kill. Terumi Mei felt murderous and shivered. As long as you don't kill me, I'll listen to you. Terumi Mei's voice trembled slightly, and she was so scared that she didn't dare to look at Hyuga Chen. Ha ha ha. Don't worry, I'm just joking with you, see what you're afraid of. Hyuga Chen said with a big laugh. I'm afraid that the little girl still has a smile on her face. Who else can match your face? Why is the system bound to you? Shui Haim's contemptuous words sounded again. If you still want to see outside, just shut up for me, or I don't mind blocking everything out. Hyuga Chen threatened Shui Haim. Shui Haim didn't dare to speak anymore. She was really afraid that Hyuga Chen would block her perception of the outside world. Although the system space was boundless, she was bored alone. Where are you taking me? Looking at Hyuga Chen who was laughing, Terumi Mei was no longer so scared and asked curiously. You'll know when the time comes. Hyuga Chen said, and then accelerated the flight speed, but in order to take care of Terumi Mei, Hyuga Chen didn't fly too fast. Terumi Mei, who knew that she was not in danger and was not worried, looked at the scenery below from a high altitude and was amazed. Tall and looking far, in the sky, Terumi Mei can see many things she has never seen before. Chapter 164 Contempt from Women. Who is she? Explain to me why you brought back a little girl after going out for half a day. Kushina looked at Hyuga-chen aggressively. I said, Kushina, how can you even eat a little girl's vinegar? I just see Terumi Mei's talent is good, so I want to teach her, lest a piece of rough jade lose its brilliance. Hyuga-chen spread his hands and said helplessly, regardless of whether others believed his words or not, he believed it himself anyway. HMPH, who believes? You fooled me when I was 5 or 6 years old, do you think I would believe you? Kushina looked at Hyuga-chen with contempt. You're a beast, you deceive little girls. I've seen your true nature since you were a child. Tsunade also gave Hyuga-chen a look of contempt. Kushina, you are going too far. I remember that you seem to have delivered it yourself. Hyuga-chen said while pinching Kushina's nose. How could I deliver it myself? It's clearly your fault. Kushina opened Hyuga-chan's hand and said unreasonably. Yes, I deceived you. You little fool was deceived by me all of a sudden. Hyuga-chen said with a teasing. To say I'm a little fool, damn Chen. Kushina rubbed Kiba, wanting to take a bite. Why don't you speak, Makoto? This guy tricked another girl. Tsunade took Makoto's hand and fanned the flames. Now Tsunade is afraid that the world will not be chaotic, and just wants to make some trouble for Hyuga-chen. Hyuga-chen glared at Tsunade fiercely, then gave her a waiting look. Tsunade looked at Hyuga-chen's eyes, felt a chill in his heart, and immediately sat down on the sofa with an obedient look. Hyuga-chen nodded in satisfaction, intending to spare Tsunade. Seeing everyone looking at him, Makoto said lightly, I have something to say, it's not that you don't know him. After speaking, Makoto glared at Hyuga-chen angrily. Tsunade, Makoto, and Kushina all reluctantly accepted Terumi Mei as a new member of the family after a bit of anger. But Conan couldn't accept this little loli, who was about the same age as her, and was full of hostility towards Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei also saw Conan's hostile gaze, and glared back, not daring to show weakness. The eyes of the two exchanged in the air, and there was a faint flash of electricity. Terumi Mei, how did you come with him? Kushina asked curiously. Tsunade, Makoto, Conan also looked at Terumi Mei curiously, and they also wanted to know how Terumi Mei was tricked by Hyuga-chen. Terumi Mei first glanced at Hyuga-chen, and then told everything that happened today. After listening to Terumi Mei's narration, Tsunade, Makoto, Kushina and the others all looked at Hyuga-chen with the eyes of pervert and beasts. Conan, who has always admired his brother, looked at Hyuga-chen with a bit of contempt in his eyes, feeling that the glorious image of his brother in his heart had completely collapsed. There was nothing strange about Hyuga-chan's eyes when facing the girls. What kind of person am I, don't you guys still know? Hyuga-chen said softly. We know you're a big pervert, but we underestimated your lower limit, you bastard lolicon. Then you were not in love with me, a big pervert. Hyuga-chen said proudly. Humph, you don't even want to sleep with us this month. Kushina hummed softly. Hyuga-chen smiled. I won't go to your bed, why won't I carry you to my bed? Terumi Mei, do you want to go back? Rest assured, with us here, this big pervert dare not bully you. Kushina took Terumi Mei's hand and said. Terumi Mei thought about it and shook her head. Why? Conan asked unhappily. She wanted Terumi Mei to go back. My parents and relatives are gone. I'm alone every time. It's boring to stay in the family. Terumi Mei said softly. I didn't expect you, Terumi Mei. Don't worry, we will be your relatives from now on. Kushina gently touched Terumi Mei's head. We won't let this big pervert bully you. Makoto said softly after giving Hyuga-chen a white glance. Hyuga-chen's heart is so depressed. Although he didn't really care, he couldn't keep saying he was a pervert. It seems that you must show the majesty of the head of the family and teach them a good lesson in bed, and then it is estimated that they will be honest. Well, is it true that you taught me to practice? Terumi Mei asked Hyuga-chen cautiously. Of course it's true. Whatever you want to cultivate, I will definitely teach you as long as it can be taught. Hyuga-chen nodded and said with a smile. Then can you teach me to fly in the sky? Terumi Mei asked expectantly. Of course you can. Terumi Mei doesn't need you to teach her, we can teach her. Kushina took Terumi Mei's hand and said. Sister Terumi Mei, let Sister Kushina and the others teach me. There are a lot of things that I don't understand about the secret art of paper escape that I developed, and I need your advice from my brother. Conan said, holding Hyuga-chan's hand. What about your choice, Mime? Hyuga-chan asked with a wink. I'll follow you to practice. Terumi Mei said after hesitating for a while. After Conan heard it, his cheeks bulged slightly, like a small hamster, which was extra cute. After Hyuga-chan saw it, she couldn't help pinching Conan's face. It felt so cute, and she was completely two people from the cold Conan in Hyuga-chan's memory, and there was a cute contrast. Conan accepted Hyuga-chan's face pinching with ease, and even gave Terumi Mei a provocative look. Terumi Mei was very upset. Conan's provocation made Terumi Mei feel very uncomfortable, and there were other reasons Terumi Mei couldn't tell because she was unhappy looking at Conan. The two of you are unhappy with me, and I see you as unhappy, and the air freezes because of their staring at each other. The latest Filu Tianbang Popular Books plus full group files plus 10,000 online disc resources plus 800 new books per month. And the Hedgehog Cat book. This book is only for communication and learning, and the copyright belongs to the original author and publisher. If you like it, please support the genuine version. Hyuga-chan held one in one hand and walked outside. He didn't expect Conan, a gentle and soft temperament, to be unable to get along with Terumi Mei. Coming to the open space in front of the beach, Hyuga-chan first taught Terumi Mei the 6 naval styles, which are very inclusive and suitable for almost anyone. In the process of learning the 6th form of the Navy, Terumi Mei also let go of the tension in her heart, and the trace of fear and precaution she had reserved for Hyuga-chan in her heart gradually disappeared. Seeing the smile on Terumi Mei's face, Conan felt uncomfortable, his cheeks bulged again, and he didn't even fold the origami he usually likes. Brother, come here quickly, and I'm going to show you my paper escape technique. Conan shouted loudly. You practice on your own first, I'll go take a look first. Hyuga-chan said to Terumi Mei, then walked towards Conan. Terumi Mei was slightly disappointed when she saw Hyuga-chan turn around and walked towards Conan, and pouted uncontrollably. Chapter 165 Roarin' Dragon Vein Sarah. Looking at Conan's paper escape technique, Hyuga-chan pondered, and then said, Conan, your technique is only pretty good, and the flaws are a bit obvious. Zidane is afraid of water and oil. Although its abilities are comprehensive, its shortcomings are more obvious. How about I teach you other escape techniques? But I love this paper dungeon. Conan said, pursing his lips. Conan, you're so stupid, I didn't tell you to give up the paper escape, I just taught you other ninjutsu to make up for your shortcomings. Hyuga-chan stroked Conan's head and said. Oh, what kind of ninjutsu are you going to teach me, brother? Conan nodded, looking at Hyuga-chan's face. How about teaching you to fuse Kekkei Genkei? Hyuga-chan asked with a smile. Can Kekkei Genkei teach too? Terumi Mei next to him came over curiously. As long as 2 kinds of chakra nature transformation are merged, Kekkei Genkei can be generated. It is very simple for me, but if you want to have Kekkei Genkei, you will have to work hard. Hyuga-chan has merged 7 kinds of chakra nature transformation to form Kekkei Mora, whether it is Mokudan, wood style, Jinten particle style, gale style, storm style, etc. Kekkei Genkei, blood after the elimination, Hyuga-chan can be used. I can only teach you 12 theories. Whether it can be developed or not depends on yourselves. Hyuga-chan said. Okay, the theory is fine too. Terumi Mei said excitedly. Conan also looked at Hyuga-chan longingly. Kekkei Genkei was very attractive to every ninja, even Tsunade and the others were interested and listened carefully to what Hyuga-chan said. Hyuga-chan explained how to integrate chakra nature transformation, as well as matters needing attention, all without reservation. The rest can only rely on themselves, Hyuga-chen can only point a little. Having a perfect sage body. In fact, it is possible for you to combine Mokuden, wood style, a complete version of Mokuden, wood style. Hyuga-chen pointed out. Mokuden, wood style. Tsunade's eyes twinkled. She was the most eager to get Mokuden, wood style, not only for the destruction of Mokuden, wood style power, but also because of Mokuden, wood style has a special meaning to the Senju family. Looking at the girls who were working hard to study, Hyuga-chen didn't bother, and said a few words to the girls, then left the island and the country of water. Hyuga-chen's destination this time is the ancient country of Rorin, and the real target is the Dragon Veins. I am very curious about the Dragon Vein, Hyuga-chen, because the Dragon Vein can make people travel through time and space, which Hyuga-chen can't do now. Even Ten Tails doesn't have this ability. And how long has the Dragon Vein existed? No one knows. Maybe it is older than the Divine Tree. Hyuga-chen's speed was very fast, and after arriving in the relatively prosperous ancient country of Rorin, Hyuga-chen frowned. If it is calculated according to time, the current Beizu should have passed through for a long time. Why is there no sign? Is there a change? Hyuga-chen whispered to himself. He didn't believe that the ambitious 100-footed crossing would do nothing. Idiot-chen, with you here, do you think Beizu can pass through? Yuki Haime's words suddenly awakened Hyuga-chen. Right. Beizu came from the future, but does the Dragon Vein still have a future? I remind you that Beizu didn't travel from the future. Yuki Haime reminded Hyuga-chen. Isn't it from the future? Where did he come from? He popped out of the cracks in the stone. Hyuga-chen questioned. He didn't think Shui Haime would deceive him. Hyuga-chen waited for a long time, but Shui Haime didn't speak, which made Hyuga-chen feel depressed and wanted to run into the system space and beat her ass. After inquiring about it, Hyuga-chen also knew that the current queen is Sarah, who is only 12 years old. Using space ninjutsu, he came to the palace. Hyuga-chen began to look for Sarah, and he also wanted Sarah to take him to the Dragon Veins. The most important thing is that Hyuga-chen is very curious about Sarah and can control the Dragon Veins with endless energy. Hyuga-chen can't be curious or not. Sala is obviously just an ordinary person without power. How can he have the ability to control Dragon Veins? Hyuga-chen was very curious. The small country is not big, and the palace is not too small. Hyuga-chen casually walked in the palace, and the maids around him didn't seem to see him at all. The country of Rorin is incompatible with all the countries in the ninja world. Only the leader of this country is called the queen, while the leaders of other countries are called the big name. Coming to Sarah's bedroom, Hyuga-chen finally found her, but at this time Sarah was taking a bath. Listening to the sound of rushing water, Hyuga-chen was lying on Yuhi's big bed. As a big gentleman, Hyuga-chen would never do such a rude thing. Even if she really wanted to see it, Hyuga-chen wouldn't look at it secretly. Besides, she was a 12-year-old girl who didn't have a proud figure, and she didn't have anything to look at. Lying on the big soft bed, Hyuga-chen had no expression on his face. He had been lying here for more than an hour, and the people inside had not come out. If there was no movement, Hyuga-chen would have thought that the other party had drowned in the bath. After another half hour, Sarah walked out of the bathroom humming a song, naked, because no one dared to break into her room, so Sarah was used to it. Hearing the footsteps, Hyuga-chen got up and did it, and looked at Sarah, and the air stopped for a moment. Looking at Sarah's amazing figure, Hyuga-chen said that she wanted to take back her previous thoughts. The body of a 12-year-old girl is also quite interesting. Ah! Sarah, who realized it with hindsight, finally reacted. Big 710 called out, and hurried back to the bathroom. Hyuga-chen poked out his ears. The voice was really loud. If it wasn't for Hyuga-chen's soundproof barrier, Sarah's voice would probably be able to spread throughout all the palaces. Hyuga-chen angrily. Hyuga-chen turned his head and didn't see it. It wasn't all his fault. Who told the other party to take a shower and run out naked? You're wearing a yukata anyway. Hyuga-chan thought so, but Sarah didn't think so. In her opinion, it was the fault of this shameless little thief who broke into the girl's boudoir without permission. He was definitely not a good person. Hyuga-chan doesn't know, he has been labeled as not a good person now. Knowing that Hyuga-chan wouldn't care, he wasn't a good person in the first place. Who are you? How dare you to break into this queen's palace? Believe it or not, I'll have your head chopped off. Sarah pinched her waist with one hand and pointed at Hyuga-chan angrily with the other. Only then did Sarah seriously look at Hyuga-chan, seeing Hyuga-chan's handsome face, her face slightly yuhi, her little heart beating faster than expected. Sarah shook her head vigorously and threw all the messy thoughts out of her mind. This is a thief with bad intentions, and no matter how handsome he looks, it can't change that he is a villain. Chapter 166 Can destroy the world. Who the hell are you? Tell me quickly, or I'll let the guards arrest you. Seeing that Hyuga-chan didn't speak, Sarah snorted again. Ha ha ha, who am I? I'm the bad guy in the legend, you haven't seen Queen Sarah. Hyuga-chan stood up and walked towards Sarah step by step, with an evil laugh from his mouth. Don't come here, I'll shout if you come again. Sarah clenched her clothes nervously, with a look of fear on her face. Shout. Ha ha ha. You shout. No one will come to save you if you shout out of your throat. Hyuga-chan laughed wildly. Someone. There are assassins, come here. Sarah shouted loudly, but no one came to rescue her except Hyuga-chan, who was approaching. No one will come to save you, my little queen. Hyuga-chan walked up to Sarah, raised her chin with her fingers, and looked down at her. What do you want? I'm still young, you don't want to. Sarah looked at Hyuga-chan with tears in her eyes. Hyuga-chan is speechless, does he really look like a beast? Don't worry, I don't like a young girl like you. Hyuga-chan put away the evil smile on his face and said speechlessly. Hearing this, Sarah, who should have been happy, was very upset. Are you looking down on her? Looking down at the small steamed buns growing in front of the chest, I can't say it's small, but it's not big either. Am I really that unattractive? Sarah mused to herself. Hyuga-chan stretched out her hand and faced Sarah, who was trapped in her own world. Sarah, who is the queen, has been confessed all day long. When did someone so boldly blow her mind and use so much force? Sarah, who had never suffered, squatted down, lowered her head and wept softly. Hyuga-chan was a little embarrassed. I didn't expect Sarah to cry so easily. Now, is he comforting her gently or playing the role of a villain to the end? Thinking about it, Hyuga-chan decided to continue to play the bad guy, and it's easier to play in his true colors. Don't cry, if you dare to cry again, I will rape you and then kill you. Hyuga-chan threatened fiercely. The effect is surprisingly effective, and Sarah listened to Hyuga-chan's threat, and immediately did not dare to make a sound. Get up and let me ask you, do you know the origin of the dragon veins? Hyuga-chan stretched out his hand to pull up Sarah, who was squatting on the ground, and asked lightly. Dragon vein, your purpose is dragon vein. Sarah wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and looked at Hyuga-chan vigilantly. You die. I won't tell you anything about the dragon veins. This is my promise to my mother. Sarah, who was originally very afraid, showed strength on her face. Her mother had explained to her before her death that she must protect the dragon veins. I have the ability to extract souls and check other people's memories. Are you sure you won't say anything? After being extracted, you will never be reborn. Hyuga-chan threatened softly. Hyuga-chan was constantly afraid of drinking Sarah, which made Sarah more and more afraid, and the strength she originally showed disappeared. Sarah is just a little girl who hasn't experienced wind and rain, so she can't have too strong psychological quality. I only know that the masters of our family have been able to open and close the dragon veins for generations. I really don't know about the rest. Sarah said, holding her arms trembling. It's really worthless, to actually bully the little girl again. Shueheim said contemptuously, she couldn't find any words to describe Hyuga-chan. Hyuga-chan completely ignored Shueheim and said lightly, Help me open the dragon veins, and I'll let you go. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Sarah shook her head. She would not agree to this matter even if she died. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? A trace of fear flashed in Sarah's eyes, and then she forced it down, looking at Hyuga-chen with a stubborn face. Actually, I can open the dragon veins without you, Hyuga-chen said jokingly. Ah, no, you absolutely can't open the dragon vein. It is rumored that opening the dragon vein will cause a war to destroy the world. You absolutely cannot open it, Sarah said anxiously. Destroy the world. Hyuga-chen shook his head with a disdainful expression. Dragon veins are indeed very powerful, but destroying the world is still too exaggerated. Dragon veins can indeed destroy the world, don't you believe it? This is the information passed down from generation to generation in our family, Sarah said with a very solemn expression. Hyuga-chen smiled and didn't believe it at all. She's right, dragon veins can indeed destroy the world, but not directly, but indirectly. Shui Haim's voice came. Hyuga-chen was stunned for a moment. Does the dragon vein really have such a powerful ability that it can really destroy the world? Dragon veins can really destroy the world. You won't lie to me, will you? Hyuga-chen asked Shui Haim in disbelief. Hyuga-chen admits that the dragon vein is very strong and mysterious, but it is a bit too exaggerated to cause the destruction of the world. Anyway, Hyuga-chen is a little bit unconvinced. If the dragon vein is really that strong, Namikaze Minato can seal the dragon vein. I'm talking about the indirect destruction of the world. Did you understand? Maybe the one who destroyed the world is you, Shui Haim said angrily, and then ignored him. Hyuga-chen's suspicious appearance made Yuki Haim very upset. Shrugging, then Hyuga-chen turned around and was about to leave. He went to look at the dragon veins. He wanted to know what magic there was in the dragon veins. If I devour the dragon veins, can I get the power to travel through time and space? Just thinking about it, Hyuga-chen's heart became hot. Although I know it's unlikely, this doesn't affect Hyuga-chen's imagination at all. What if he gets it? Hey, do you want to go to Longmei? I'm going too. You don't celebrate your escape now, but you still dare to lean on me. Your head is very iron. Hyuga-chen turned his head and glanced at Sarah. Dragon vein is something of my family. Of course I want to go. I don't believe you can open the dragon vein. Only I can open the dragon vein. Are you afraid that I won't be able to open the dragon vein and want to open it for me? Thinking beautifully, Sarah pouted. She was afraid that Hyuga-chen would really be able to open the dragon's veins, and then she would be able to stop him and save the world. Most people have dreams of saving the world in their hearts, and our Queen Sarah is no exception. Then please go ahead. Hyuga-chen made a please gesture. Glared at Hyuga-chen fiercely, and then Sarah went out. She decided to let the guards catch him after she went out, and then she must take revenge and come back. Thinking of the scene of her own revenge in her mind, a smile appeared on Sarah's face. What a smirk! Quickly show me the way. Hyuga-chen patted the silly queen. HMPH, let's be proud of yourself first. Sarah snorted softly and said secretly, then tossed her yuhi-colored hair and strode forward. Chapter 167 Travel Through Time. Looking at the guards and maids who let herself yell and ignore her at all, Sarah was desperate. She felt like she was in two different worlds with these people. Don't call the little queen, it's not good to make your voice hoarse. Hyuga-chen said lightly. Damn, it's you who did it. Just wait, this queen will definitely punish you. Sarah looked at Hyuga-chen angrily, feeling that the face that surprised her was abominable. Do you think I'm handsome and fall in love with me? Hyuga-chen teased. Humph, I won't take a fancy to you, the bad guy, unless you don't have the idea of dragon veins, so I can think about it. Sarah's voice became lower and lower, and finally she couldn't even hear it herself. But her cheeky face of Yuhi had already betrayed her. Following Sarah to the location of the dragon veins, Hyuga-chen smiled. So the dragon veins are here. Ah, you don't know where the dragon veins are. Sarah was shocked. She felt as if she had done something stupid. I can find it without you leading the way, but it will take a little more time. Hyuga Chen said softly. If you don't sense it carefully, it's really hard to feel the energy fluctuations. The dragon veins are hidden very deep. Hyuga Chen used Tensagen's perspective ability to clearly see the huge energy. How is it? Can't open it, Sarah said proudly. Really? Hyuga-chan chuckled. A pitch-black Gudodama truth-seeking ball appeared in his hand. Gudodama truth-seeking ball transformed into a long sword, and then Hyuga-chan waved it gently. After the sound of bang, the energy of the dragon's veins overflowed rapidly. Sarah looked shocked, and then screamed out. Why are you so violent? It's over. How do you close the dragon veins now? Sarah looked at the destroyed surroundings and wanted to cry without tears. Hyuga Chen reached out and grabbed the energy of a ray of dragon veins. It felt similar to natural energy, and even this was natural energy. I don't feel that there is too much special. Hyuga Chen looked puzzled, and did not find the difference in dragon vein chakra. Why can he take people through time and space? Let's devour it first. Hyuga Chen, who couldn't figure it out, didn't think about it anymore, and started to devour the energy of the dragon's veins with God Eater. At the beginning, the dragon vein chakra was calm, but as Hyuga Chen devoured it, the dragon vein chakra ran wild, forming a storm that involved Hyuga Chen and Sarah. Not good. Hyuga Chen felt a little bad, reached out and grabbed Sarah. Just when he was about to use the space teleport to leave, there was a wave of time and space, and Hyuga Chen and Sarah disappeared. In a dense forest, Hyuga Chen and Sarah appeared here. Sarah was unconscious at this time and lay down in Hyuga Chen's arms. Damn, it's too big. Hyuga Chen scolded secretly. Although he knew that the Dragon Pulse has the ability to reverse the time and space, but Hyuga Chen relied on his own time and space control ability, and did not take it to heart, but the reality slapped Hyuga Chen. Under the power of the dragon veins, Hyuga Chen is hundreds of times more difficult to control than before, whether it is time or space, and when Hyuga Chen is about to use the space teleportation, he has already been sent here. Shui Heim, do you know where this place is? What time? Hyuga Chen asked anxiously. He couldn't help but be in a hurry. When Hyuga Chen came out, he told Tsunade and the others that he would go back in a month at most. Now I don't know where it was thrown. What if it happened in a few decades? If Tsunade and the others can't see Hyuga Chen, they won't be in a hurry. Now you know you're in a hurry, Shui Heim said jokingly, a bit of schadenfreude in his voice. Shui Heim, now is not the time to be joking. Hyuga Chen frowned and roared, he was really anxious now. I don't know how to be polite to others. It's 300 years before Konoha was established. Don't look for me, I don't want to deal with you, Shui Heim said angrily. Hyuga Chen was relieved to hear that, as long as it wasn't the future. Then how do I get back? Hyuga Chen asked. Don't call me, I can't hear it. Shui Heim's slightly angry voice came, and then let Hyuga Chen shout, but Shui Heim didn't make a sound. Alas, I can only wait for Shui Heim to calm down and look for her again. Hyuga Chen sighed. Although Hyuga Chen, as the host of the system, has the right to order Shui Heim couldn't refuse, but Hyuga Chen didn't want to do it. He did not regard Shui Heim as a tool. Shui Heim is a system elf. After contact with Shui Heim, Hyuga Chen also knows that she is not a virtual program, but a real life. In general, Hyuga Chen respects Snowheim. Konoha was established 300 years ago. How did it come to this time? Hyuga Chen shook his head. He was not familiar with the current situation at all. Seeing that Sarah is still awake, Hyuga Chen uses Mokutan, wood style, to build a house, and then puts Sarah on the wooden bed. He had checked Sarah, and Sarah had nothing but fainted. Separate a wooden clone and let him investigate the situation. Now that I don't know how to go back, I'd better understand this era first. Tilda. Sarah opened her eyes in confusion, feeling so dizzy and uncomfortable. Where is this place? Am I still alive? Sarah asked blankly. Of course you are alive, but I don't know where it is. Hyuga Chen said rather speechlessly. How could this happen? What's wrong with us? Through time and space, the dragon vein has the power of time and space. The time we are in now should be more than 300 years ago. Hyuga Chen explained to Sarah after thinking about it. Is it a dream, or are you lying to me? Traveled through time and space. How is this possible? How could I not know that dragon veins have this ability? Sarah looked at Hyuga Chen suspiciously. Hyuga Chen said angrily, what do you have to deceive me? Do you really know the dragon veins well? Sarah was suddenly stopped. She didn't know much about dragon veins, but she knew that dragon veins had the power to subvert the world. Then how do we get back? Sarah asked in a dazed way. She was very hesitant when she came to more than 300 years ago. I don't know how to go back now, but don't worry, since I brought you here, I will protect your safety and take you back. Hyuga Chen comforted Sarah. Sarah was silent, her body curled up, showing her uneasiness. Sarah has no strong power, and has been well protected since she was a child. If she really encounters things, she will only be confused. After a long time, Sarah looked up at Hyuga Chen and asked softly, will you really protect me? Of course I will protect you, although you are just a vase, but I will also protect the vase from being broken. Hyuga Chen chuckled lightly. The fear in my heart and the fear of the unfamiliar environment all disappeared because of Hyuga Chen's words, and was replaced by anger. I'm not the vase, you are the vase. Sarah shouted angrily. Chapter 168 Parallel World. After a long time, Sarah has completely stabilized, and her heart is not so fearful. But she didn't dare to leave Hyuga Chen's side, she had to see him to feel at ease, because Sarah was afraid that Hyuga Chen would leave her behind. If Hyuga Chen left her, Sarah really didn't know how to live in this unfamiliar place. The wooden clone that Hyuga Chen sent out to inquire about the news also came back, and Hyuga Chen also got most of the information at this time. The location where they are now is in the country of fire, and now there is a country of fire, but there is no ninja village, but large and small ninja families. This era is very chaotic, various families are constantly fighting, for the sake of profit and survival, human life is worthless in this era. After understanding this era, Hyuga Chen realized why Uchiha Madara also yearns for peace. With the cruelty of this era, it is estimated that people living in this era will yearn for peace. Although the ninjas of this era also yearn for peace, yearning for peace does not mean that there will be peace. In the context of the big era, the word peace is very weak. When you don't let the world accommodate your strength, you can only accommodate the world. This may be the reason why Senju Hashirama is respected by everyone, because he changed the times and ended the troubled times. Hyuga Chen said with a faint emotion. Although it was Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara who ended the troubled times together, people usually only remember the number 1, and few people remember Uchiha Madara who was defeated by Senju Hashirama. This is the reality, you can't blame anyone, if you want to blame you, you are not as strong as others. Well, I'm hungry, Sarah whispered. Well, I'll go get you some food. Hyuga Chen stood up, turned and walked outside the house. Wait, Sarah shouted in a panic. What's wrong with my queen? Hyuga Chen turned around helplessly. Sarah heard the grievance and shed tears, and said with tears in her eyes, do you dislike me? You won't leave me. I'm so scared, can you take me with you? Hyuga Chen was stunned for a moment, her eyes softened, the other party was just a queen who had never experienced suffering, and came to a completely unfamiliar place, and it was normal to be anxious. Don't worry, if I say I won't leave you, I won't leave you. This is my promise. I don't promise anything easily, but as long as I make a promise, it will definitely be done. Hyuga Chen leaned down and stroked Sarah's head. Feeling the warm breath conveyed, Sarah wiped away her tears, nodded lightly, grabbed Hyuga Chen's arm with both hands, and didn't let go. Hyuga Chen is her only life-saving straw, her only spiritual sustenance, and now she just wants to follow Hyuga Chen tightly. I'm Sarah, don't you know your name yet? My name is Hyuga Chen, You can call me Chen. Hyuga-chen said softly. Hyuga-chen. It sounds familiar, I seem to have heard it before. Ah, you are Hyuga-chen, the ninja demon Hyuga-chen. Sarah exclaimed in surprise. What's the matter? Is my reputation so widespread that even a small country like Roran knows about me? Hyuga-chen was a little confused. Yeah, it's so irritating. Why is our Roran a small country? Our Roran is very famous. Sarah said dissatisfied. Roran was originally a small country. Hyuga-chen complained in his heart, but he didn't say it, otherwise he would have to raise the bar again. You haven't said it yet, how do you know my reputation? Hyuga-chen changed the subject. Through TV. It's broadcasted on TV, saying that you are bad, bloodthirsty, do all evil, despicable and shameless. But this is also many years ago. If it wasn't for my natural memory, I would not have thought about it. Get up. Hearing the words that kept popping out of Sarah's mouth, Hyuga-chan's face became darker and darker. If he were to know which bastard was broadcasting, Hyuga-chan would definitely destroy his whole family. Are you angry? Sarah asked cautiously. It's okay. By the way, aren't you afraid of me? Hyuga-chan asked curiously. I feel that you are a good person, not as bad as the legends say. Sarah said seriously. Hey I won't say that in the future. Hyuga-chan laughed, then separated a wooden clone and asked him to find something to eat. Although Hyuga-chen can use yin-yang escape to create food, Hyuga-chen feels that such food has no soul, so there is no intention to directly create food at all. In fact, there are many faults. After chatting with Sarah for a while, Sarah fell asleep exhausted. What she experienced today made Sarah very tired. Although she fell asleep, Sarah still didn't let go, clutching Hyuga-chan's clothes tightly. Hyuga-chen didn't break free either, let Sarah hold her, and began to contact Shuiheim in her heart. Shuiheim, don't make trouble, okay, I apologize to you, can you tell me how to go back? Humph, it's very easy to go back, 1 million exchange points can send you back. Shuiheim snorted softly. 1 million exchange points. You are robbery, Hyuga-chen said bitterly. Originally, there were still 500,000 exchange points, plus his exchange points for the past 8 years, a total of 580,000, 200,000 for the exchange of smart computers, and 380,000 remaining, where is there a million exchange points? You can find the dragon veins and use the power of the dragon veins to teleport you back, and you can go back directly to the time you teleported. It seems that I can only use the power of the dragon veins. Hyuga-chen sighed and said, who made him poor? Forgot to tell you, in fact, this is not the world you are in, but a parallel world. Shuiheim said softly. What? This is a parallel world. Hyuga-chen was shocked. This is also the reason why I said that dragon veins can indirectly destroy the world, because dragon veins are the time and space nodes connecting parallel worlds. You should know people in one world and discover what will happen in another world. Hyuga-chen knew, of course he knew what was going to happen, because he had already begun to make plans in his heart. No wonder you said before that it might be me who will destroy the world. Hyuga-chan's face got brighter and brighter with a smile on his face. Originally, Hyuga-chen just wanted to be safe and secure and find a way to go back, but now that she knew that this was a parallel world, Hyuga-chen couldn't settle down in her heart. Before Hyuga-chen didn't want to do anything, it was because he was afraid of affecting the future, causing Tsunade and the others to disappear. Time is such a mysterious thing, even Hyuga-chen, who has the control of time and space, can't grasp it. Now that he knows that this is a parallel world, Hyuga-chen has no scruples in his heart. In parallel worlds, the two worlds will never intersect except for the unexpected intersection of the dragon veins. What happens here will never affect his world. This is equivalent to another world. What to do if you find another world, of course, is plundering everything. There was a greedy green light in Hyuga-chan's eyes, staring at the world like a wolf. Using the technique of multiple wooden clones, Hyuga Chen asked them to go out to inquire about the news of the nine-tailed beasts, and by the way, to inquire about the specific situation of this world, and then Hyuga Chen will have a big fight. Chapter 169 Snowheim and Sarah. Are you awake? It's quite a coincidence that I woke up. The meat I grilled is already cooked, how about you come and taste it? Hyuga Chen took a skewer of grilled meat and handed it to Sarah. Sarah rubbed her eyes, took the meat skewer and took a bite. It's delicious. Sarah nodded, then ignored her image and devoured it, looking like she was really hungry. Aren't you going to eat? Sarah looked at Hyuga Chen while she was eating. You eat. I'm not hungry. Hyuga Chen shook his head. He no longer needs food to replenish his energy, food is just to satisfy his appetite. Shui Heim, can you bring other people into the system space? Hyuga Chen asked. Yes, as long as the other party has no ill will towards you, you can bring people into the system space. What? You want to bring that little girl in? Shui Heim said in a slightly excited tone. You seem very happy. Of course I'm happy. I'm very bored in the system space. If you bring someone in, chat with me, and play. Alright then. I'll take Sarah in a while, let Sarah stay in the system space first. Hyuga-chan said softly. Next, he has big things to do, and it is very inconvenient to carry Sarah, a tow bottle. After Sarah was full, Hyuga-chan spoke to Sarah, and then took Sarah into the system space. Standing on the snow-covered ground, Sarah suddenly opened her eyes, looking very cute. It's so beautiful here. Is this your world? Sarah squatted down and grabbed a handful of white snow, which was slightly cold, not very cold, very strange. This is the first time I've seen snow, I've only heard of it before. Sarah rolled on the ground, like a child, okay. In fact, she was a child. How is it? Is the scenery beautiful? Shui Heim walked out from behind Hyuga Chen, looking at Hyuga Chen expectantly, waiting for his compliment. It's beautiful. Hyuga Chen reached out and touched Snowheim's silver-white hair. The hair was extremely smooth, and a faint fragrance penetrated into Hyuga Chen's nose, which made Hyuga Chen couldn't help but take a deep breath. Shui Heim looked at Hyuga Chen's expression, with a smile on her face. She was in a good mood, and she was very happy to be appreciated by Hyuga Chen. Snowheim was originally born because of Hyuga Chen, and Hyuga Chen's approval is the greatest meaning of her existence. Sarah, who was rolling in the snow, felt very unhappy. Seeing the somewhat ambiguous atmosphere between Hyuga Chen and Shui Heim, she felt a little jealous in her heart, as if her baby was taken away by someone else. Chen, is she the manager of this world you said? Sarah asked with a small mouth. Hyuga Chen nodded when he heard the words. He couldn't tell Sarah about the system, so he told Sarah that this world was created by him, and Shui Heim was the one who managed this world. Although Sarah was very confused at first and felt a bit unreal, but she has experienced all the things that traveled through time and space, and slowly accepted it. At the same time, Sarah also has a little yearning for the power of ninjas. She used to think that ninjas were a group of stronger people, similar to her bodyguards. Now that she finally knows the magic and power of ninjas, she also has a yearning for the profession of ninjas. Shui Heim smiled at Sarah, nodded, and said hello. Although Sarah was unhappy with Shui Heim, she was the queen after all. With good etiquette education, she still suppressed her unhappiness, greeted Shui Heim and introduced herself. I didn't expect you to be able to create such a large space, you can't see the edge at a glance. Only then did Sarah really look at the system space, lamenting the size of the world, and at the same time, she was even more eager to become a ninja. Hyuga Chen smiled without saying a word. He can indeed create a small world, but he can never create a world with such a large system space. To be honest, Hyuga Chen didn't know how big the system space was, and even Shui Heim didn't know how big the system space was. Chen, I want to be a ninja, can you teach me? Sarah asked eagerly. I don't have time now, you can let Shui Heim teach you. Hyuga Chen shook his head. Oh, Sarah bowed her head sullenly, very reserved. This bottle of potion will help you become a ninja a lot. After thinking about it, Hyuga-chen took out a bottle of sage body potion and handed it to Sarah, which was considered compensation for bringing her into this world. Hyuga-chen with a pair of beautiful big eyes. Don't forget to come and see me. Sarah's tone was a little worried, for fear that Hyuga-chen would forget her. Don't worry, I'll come in when I have time, you can just ask Shueheim for anything. Hyuga-chen smiled and nodded, then left the system space. After Hyuga-chen left, the painting style suddenly changed, the air began to freeze, Shueheim and Sarah's eyes collided, and a cold wind blew in the air. Humph! Sarah turned her head away. There is no food here. If you want to eat and drink, you must come to me. Shueheim looked at Sarah with a smile. What? Sarah exclaimed, feeling bad in her heart, as if the other party had caught her dead end. If you dare to bully me, I'll tell Chen to clean up you. Sarah pinched her waist and said, but her confidence was a little lacking. My relationship with Chen is much better than your relationship with him. Chen won't be willing to take care of me. Shueheim looked at Sarah with smug eyes. You will call me eldest sister in the future. If I am not satisfied, you are ready to go hungry. Shueheim looked at Sarah with the eyes of the big bad wolf looking at the little white rabbit. Damn, 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 Sarah said damn 3 times in a row, looking at the malicious smile on the other side's face. Sarah knew that her life would not be better in the future. But it is impossible to make her soft, she is Queen Sarah. Damn Hyuga-chen, why don't you just let me stay here? Sarah shouted unhappily in her heart. It looks like you are very strong, little sister, but it doesn't matter, there will be times when you will be soft, ahahaha. Shueheim laughed like a female 2.8 king, which was completely different from when she was by Hyuga-chen's side. Beside Hyuga-chen, Snoheim Tsunere has a small temper, like a little princess, but in front of Sarah it is the complete opposite. Could it be that in the heart of every princess, there is a heart that wants to be a queen? Don't be complacent, Sarah, will definitely fight you to the end. If I give in, then I am a puppy. Sarah clenched her fists and glared at Shueheim. I'm looking forward to your performance. Don't let me down. If you let me down, I will punish you. Shueheim pinched Sarah's chin and said playfully. Sarah shook off Shueheim's hand and stared at Shueheim with stubborn eyes. Hyuga-chen doesn't know the situation of the system space at all, and he even thinks that Shueheim and Sarah should get along very well. Chapter 170 The Kagaya Clan. After leaving the system space, Hyuga-chen left the cabin. Walking on the main road, civilians in a hurry kept running past, with expressions of fear on their faces, and they were fleeing frantically. Hyuga-chen looked inexplicable for a while. Young man, just by looking at your clothes, you can tell that you are not an ordinary person. Hurry up and run. The bandits have come down the mountain to loot. A middle-aged man said to Hyuga-chen, and then he ran away quickly. Can remind Hyuga-chen that this middle-aged man has a good heart, and there are not many such people in this era. Band thief, I'm the one who wants to become One Piece, so why should I be afraid of any pirate? Hyuga-chen crossed his arms and walked slowly down the avenue. Hyuga-chen is dressed in a luxurious kimono, and looks like a wealthy family at first glance. Coupled with such an unscrupulous and arrogant attitude, it naturally attracted the attention of the bandits. The boy in front, stop for me. The leader of the bandits shouted. The other party was still a ninja, but only a small chunin. Hyuga-chen walks on his own, let him stop, will he stop? Wasn't he embarrassed? You're deaf, don't you hear? Didn't hear. 12A wooden kunai was inserted into the opponent's neck, and the bandit leader fell to the ground clutching his neck. Ninja, the opponent is a powerful ninja, let's run. Seeing that their leader was killed lightly, the remaining bandits fled. They were just a group of turkeys, and Hyuga-chen wouldn't have to kill them, because there was no need at all, so let them escape. Under the awe-inspiring gazes of a group of commoners, Hyuga-chen's figure gradually drifted away. The status of ninjas in this era is very high. Anyway, Ordinary people do not dare to offend ninjas, otherwise they may move their heads. Along the way, Hyuga-chen also really experienced the word chaos. Just the bandit Hyuga-chen has encountered more than a dozen waves. The army of the Fire Nation is useless at all, and the big names are just decorations, which are useless at all, and the most powerful are the major families. Coming to a town, Hyuga-chen found a tavern, ordered a pot of sake and a few side dishes, and then listened to the chatter in the tavern. Taverns are easier places to get news, because after some people drink, they can't control their mouths and say anything. There are also some people who like to pretend to be in a tavern and tell some news that they know so as to attract the attention of others. I heard that there was a conflict between the Kagaya clan and the Hyuga clan. I know this, the conflict between the two clans is due to an iron mine. I heard that the brainless things of the Kagaya clan are ready to use the power of the whole clan to compete with the Hyuga clan. One of them, who is thin and ugly, said bragging. Ha ha ha, you dare to say that the Kagaya clan have no brains. If the Kagaya clan hears this, they will definitely tear up you skinny monkey. The people next to him laughed. Hyuga-chen was stunned. Isn't the Kagaya family in the land of water? This is clearly the land of fire. What are you afraid of? The Kagaya clan is too arrogant and domineering, and offends too many people. I heard that the interests of the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan have also been touched. It is estimated that they will perish in a short time. People called thin monkeys disdain the way. Boom! The door of the tavern shattered, and a tall man with two yuhi dots between his eyebrows and a very strange face walked in. After he came in, the tavern was quiet for a moment. Which bastard dares to insult my Kagaya clan? Stand up for me! The ninja of the Kagaya clan roared loudly, and the voice shook the sky. No one dared to make a sound, especially the thin monkey just now, who kept sweating on his forehead and shaking his body. Is the Kagaya clan strong? Offended the three top families, Senju, Uchiha, and Hyuga. They haven't been exterminated yet. You say they are strong. The most important thing is that the Kagaya family are all lunatics, and they will die in war. Don't say yes. Then I'll kill you all. The Kagaya clan's ninja showed a cruel expression on his face, and held out a bone blade in his hand. No, I said. Seeing that the other party was about to make a move, someone finally spoke up and reached out to point at the skinny monkey. Ha ha ha, it's too late. Kagaya Shota's bone blade pierced his chest, taking his life. What to do? What to do? He's going to kill us all. Bastard Kagaya clan, we fought with him to kill this guy. One of them took out kunai, used body instant to come to Kagaya Shota, and the kunai in his hand stabbed him in the chest. Kagaya Shota laughed when he saw this. A layer of bone armor protected his chest, and the steel kuei pierced into the bone armor. A spark of sparks appeared, and a steel clanging sound came out. So weak, you dare to insult our Kagaya clan, and give me death. Kagaya Shota's bone blade slashed down with force, splitting the man in half, and blood flowed to the ground. Everyone looked at Kagaya Shota in horror, especially the skinny monkey, who was already peeing his pants. You weaklings dare to speak up and talk about our Kagaya family. It's not a pity to die. Kagaya Shota released bone bullets from his fingertips, easily piercing everyone's heads. The entire tavern, except Hyuga-chen, fell to the ground with wide-eyed eyes, and his body gradually became cold. Huh, you're actually fine. Kagaya Shota looked at Hyuga-chen, who was still drinking, and was obviously taken aback. Then, with a fierce look in his eyes, he took the bone blade and slashed towards Hyuga-chen. Are the people of the Kagaya clan so impulsive? It's really mindless. Hyuga-chen silently looked at Kagaya Shota who was rushing over. It is very irrational to rush up without knowing the other party. Such people are either very confident in 153 themselves, or they are self-righteous. Kagaya Shota is the latter type. People in the Kagaya family are impulsive and irritable. Kagaya Shota who was rushing towards him, Hyuga-chen kicked out with one kick. This kick was so fast that Kagaya Shota couldn't react at all. Bang! Kagaya Shota, who vomited blood and flew upside down, smashed to the ground, her chest collapsed, and she rolled miserably on the ground. Hyuga Chen continued drinking without looking at each other. After a long time, Kagaya Shoto struggled to get up, and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. His broken bones had completely recovered, but the pain was still excruciating. Dare to offend our Kagaya clan, you are finished, kid. Kagaya Shota gave Hyuga Chen a resentful look, then turned to flee. It turned out to be a bit of a brain. I thought this guy was going to fight me desperately. Hyuga Chen sat on the chair and said softly. He got up and took 2 pots of good wine in the tavern, and then left the tavern. After inquiring about it, Hyuga Chen headed towards the Senju family's residence. The Senju family also has one thing Hyuga Chen wants to get, and that is the Fudo Soul Sword that Tsunade gave to Hyuga Chen. There is basically no difference in the parallel world, and this world may also have the Fudo Soul Sword. Hyuga Chen already has it, but after getting the Fudo Soul Sword, it can also be used by Makoto. Chapter 171 Plunder. Coming to the Senju family's residence, Hyuga Chen was stunned when he looked at the family that looked like a small town. Could this be the top big family? It's really big. I didn't expect the Senju family to be so powerful when they were brilliant. Hyuga Chen shook his head and sighed. Looking at the Senju family at this time, Hyuga Chen couldn't look directly at the desolate Senju family. Although these are 2 worlds, the 2 worlds are basically the same, which means that in the world of Hyuga Chen, the Senju family used to be so strong. Without alerting anyone, Hyuga Chen sneaked into the Senju family, and after catching a few people to check their memories, Hyuga Chen went straight to the Senju family's clan library. Coming outside the heavily guarded clan, Hyuga Chen used a group demonic illusion, and then swaggered into the Senju family clan. Looking at the mountains of various ores, Hyuga Chen didn't stop and walked directly towards it. These ores are used to forge ninja tools, and they are useless to Hyuga Chen. When we got to the innermost part, I began to see some precious things, but Hyuga Chen still didn't like it. What he wanted was the divine sword of Fudo Yusol. In the deepest part of the family library, Hyuga Chen finally found the Butu Soul Sword, and after getting the artifact, Hyuga Chen immediately left the Senju family. After leaving the Senju family, Hyuga Chen rushed towards the Senju family's old rival, the Uchiha family. Hyuga Chen went to the Uchiha family to see if he could get the 10-fist sword and Yata mirror. Although these 2 artifacts seem to be conceptual artifacts that activate Mangekyo and self-awakened, who knows if there will be entities. It's like the Fudo Soul, which can be turned into a real body or a spiritual weapon to be armed on Susanoo's body. Regardless of whether it is there or not, Hyuga Chen has to go and look at the collection of the Uchiha family. If there is something good, I will just accept it together. Coming to the Uchiha family, the Uchiha family's residence is not smaller than that of the Senju family. In fact, these families have developed into independent small villages. Old Trick came to the treasure house of the Uchiha family, and Hyuga Chen began to loot. As long as he liked it, he would throw it all into the treasure of the king. Some useless but beautiful items were also thrown into the king's treasure by Hyuga Chen. He, the king's treasure, had nothing. Of course, he had to work hard to collect the treasure. Fill up the treasure trove. After searching the Uchiha family, Hyuga Chen did not find the 10-fist sword and Yata mirror, but got the Kusanagi sword. This Kusanagi sword is not the same as Orochimaru and Uchiha Sasuke. It has an indestructible blade, a blade that cuts everything, and also has the power to seal. I didn't expect that the Uchiha family actually has the Kusanagi sword. It seems that it is not in vain. Hyuga Chen played with the Kusanagi sword. There are many Kusanagi swords, including the 10-fist sword, which is also a kind of Kusanagi sword. As for which one is the strongest Kusanagi sword, Hyuga Chen doesn't know. Anyway, this one in his hand is not weak. As the sharpness is concerned, it is no worse than Ryujin Jaka, and it is sharper than Butu's soul sword. Overall, the Kusanagi sword is not bad, but in the hands of Hyuga Chen, I am afraid that the value of the collection is greater than the practical value. Getting the Kusanagi sword, Hyuga-chen was satisfied and left the residence of the Uchiha family. After leaving the Uchiha family, Hyuga-chen entered the system space to take a look, and found that Shueheim and Sarah were very harmonious, which made Hyuga-chen very satisfied. After caring about Sarah, Hyuga-chen left the system space. Hyuga-chen left the system space. Yukiheim and Sarah, who were once good sisters, changed immediately. Sarah followed Shueheim in fear, like a little maid. I'm very satisfied with your performance, so I won't punish you. Shueheim nodded in satisfaction. Sarah had a bitter look on her face. She wanted to sue Hyuga-chen just now, saying that Shueheim bullied her, but in the end she was cowardly, because Shueheim's punishment had scared her, and she didn't dare to be alone now. Of course, Sarah did not file a complaint to preserve her self-esteem, because she felt that it was a shame to file a complaint, and one day she would have to find her way back. Shueheim secretly breathed a sigh of relief, but fortunately Sarah didn't complain, otherwise a scolding would definitely be indispensable. After Hyuga-chen came out, there was a strange look on his face, and he felt that Sarah's expression seemed a little wrong. However, Hyuga-chen didn't think much of it. Next, Hyuga-chen went to Hyuga's house, and in the end, he got nothing. Hyuga's family was indeed poor, and there was no good thing that Hyuga-chen saw. Then Hyuga-chen visited other families in the Land of Fire. Except for a knife, Hyuga-chen found nothing. This sword is not ordinary. The legendary demon sword Muramasa and Hyuga-chenya indeed sense the power of evil from above, and this power can erode people's hearts. However, with this meager power, it was far from enough to erode Hyuga-chen. I feel like I can open a shop to sell knives. Hyuga-chen snorted slightly. A few days later, the country of fire exploded, and all the families visited by Hyuga-chen knew that their family's things had been stolen, so the whole country of fire was about to come. Hyuga-chen not only got 3 knives, but also passed along a lot of valuable things, such as a large number of ninja kunai, shuriken, ninja swords, and some valuables. In particular, things like detonating charms were all taken away by Hyuga-chen, and all the big and small families were searched. If you sell what Hyuga-chen got, Hyuga-chen will definitely be the richest man in the ninja world. Looking for the news in the tavern, Hyuga-chen also knew that Akatsuki had started a war between the Hyuga clan and the Kagaya clan, and the iron-headed babies of the Kagaya clan actually offered a reward for his head. Just not far from the battlefield, let's go and see the battles of this era. Hyuga-chen smiled and left the tavern in an instant. Hyuga-chen approached the battlefield between the two clans. The cries of killing kept coming. The confrontation between Hyuga and the Kagaya clan can only be described as wonderful. Both sides rely on taijutsu to eat, and the fight is more exciting than the confrontation of ninjutsu. Although the gentle fist method has the word soft, it is actually a force of violence, and Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse is the king of melee combat. Two families are evenly matched, and the Hyuga family still has a slight advantage now, mainly because not everyone in the Kagaya family can awaken Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse. Tisk tisk, I have to say that the fighting power of ninjas at this time is much stronger than that of later ninjas. Hyuga-chen stood on the tall trees in the distance, watching the battle not far away. Hyuga-chen looked at the Hyuga family who was now slamming, and couldn't believe what he saw, the irritable gentle fist. Can only be said that the Hyuga family at this time is indeed worthy of the name of the big family, far from being comparable to when it became a Chan oil party later. The two families fought for more than 10 hours, leaving dozens of corpses, glaring at each other, and then temporarily rested to prepare for the next battle. Chapter 172 Resurrect 10 Tails. Seeing the end of the battle, Hyuga-chen left bored, just watching it was intense. Now suddenly stop playing, very disappointing. Finding a remote place within the Fire Nation, Hyuga-chen stopped. Spirituality Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, who was far away on the moon, was shaken, and after holding on for a while, Hyuga-chen forced the psychic to walk away. Looking at the tall Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, a glint of greed flashed in Hyuga-chen's eyes. Resisting the thought of swallowing Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, Hyuga-chen began to plan. He channeled Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and wanted to complete infinite Tsukuyomi in this world and plunder the chakra of the whole world. When Hyuga-chen knew that this world was a parallel world, Hyuga-chen had this idea in his heart. He wants to do what Otsutsuki Kagaya has not done, and take all the chakras of the whole world for himself. Being the enemy of the whole world, it's exciting to think about it. Hyuga-chen looked at the sky and smiled lightly. Take out the chakras of the nine-tailed beasts that have been sealed in the body, and then use the magic dragon to seal the nine-tailed beasts to seal the chakras of the nine-tailed beasts in Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. After infusing the tailed beast chakra, Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, moved a bit, then slowly stood up and began to come to life, changing towards the 10 tails. 277 Hyuga-chen stood in front of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, quietly watching the changes of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. After a long time, the transformation of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was completed, the sky roared, and the huge 3-tomo Rinnegan radiated the light of blood Yuhi. Only 3-tomo Rinnegan. Hyuga-chen looked into 10 tails, eyes, neither surprise nor disappointment on his face. It's time to recover the tailed beasts quickly. I think those old guys should also be alerted. Hyuga-chen jumped to the top of 10 tails, head and controlled 10 tails to go towards the land of wind. 10 tails resurrected, and many people were shocked, such as Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Otsutsuki Hamura, Black Zetsu, the great immortals of the three immortals. And those who heard 10 tails, roars were all shocked. The great toad immortal Gamamaru opened his eyes and hurriedly summoned immortal Fukasaku and immortal Shima. Immortal Big Toad, I don't know what you are calling us, what is the important thing? Immortal Shenzuo and immortal Zima asked quickly, looking at the expression of immortal Big Toad, it doesn't seem good. Anyway, it was the first time they saw a sad look in the eyes of the Big Toad immortal. The great toad immortal sighed and said, alas. I see the destruction of the world, and a demon will destroy the entire world. Immortal Shenzuo and immortal Zima looked at each other. Could it be that immortal Big Toad is dreaming about the future again, but is this reliable? There is no doubt that the 10 tails who once destroyed the world have been resurrected. You should try to prevent the 10 tails from regaining their power. Be careful of a person named Hyuga-chen. The Big Toad immortal said solemnly. Seeing immortal Big Toad's dignified expression, immortal Shenzuo and immortal Zima did not dare to be careless. It was the first time they saw immortal Big Toad being so dignified. This is a disaster for the whole world, and we, Mount Myoboku, can't escape it, and now it's also for our life and death. Big Toad immortal reminded solemnly again. Yes, we will immediately notify the people in the ninja world and pass the news on. Immortal Fukasaku replied. The person who signed the contract with their Mount Myoboku to pass the message on. The news quickly spread to the entire ninja world. Almost as long as a ninja with a little strength, everyone knows that there is a person named Hyuga-chen who will control a world-destroying warcraft to destroy the world. Slug immortal, the news is true. Senju Pingfang looked shocked. That's right, the former 10 tails have been resurrected. As long as you collect the other 9-tailed beasts, you can get back all the power and have the ability to destroy the world. The small slug fairy said softly. Senju Pingjan's expression was not very good, and he didn't expect the rumors that the ninja world was buzzing, but he didn't take it to heart, and it turned out to be true. Slug immortal, what should I do? Senju Pingfang asked anxiously. Actually, the 10 tails are not invincible. The key is to resurrect the 10 tails. The voice of the slug fairy brought a hint of seriousness. Does the slug immortal know the specific strength of the people who resurrected 10 tails? Senju Harai asked hurriedly. I don't know, but if the other party can resurrect 10 tails, it will definitely not be easy. Slug immortal shook his head and said. I'll say goodbye to the slug fairy. Senju Pingfang left with an extremely ugly face. It was a matter of the safety of the whole world, so he was going to prepare. During this period of uproar in the ninja world, Hyuga Chen has sealed 1 tail and 2 tails, captured Naneo and 4 tails, and is now looking for other tailed beasts. The whereabouts of the tailed beasts are indeed difficult to find. Hyuga-chan dispatched tens of thousands of wooden clones to search for them, and only found 4 tailed beasts. Isn't Sanwei hiding in the sea? Hyuga-chan frowned. If Sanwei was really in the sea, how would he find it? The sea is endless, and it is very difficult to find Sanwei in the sea. The little mouse in the dark, get out of here. Hyuga-chen reached out and grabbed a dark shadow. Don't do it, misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. Black Zetsu said embarrassingly, but his heart was extremely gloomy. Black Zetsu was extremely wary of this person who suddenly appeared and resurrected 10 tails. Tilda, do you know where Sanwei is? Hyuga-chan sneered and asked. I don't know, I just passed by. Black Zetsu was more vigilant in his heart, and at the same time tried to escape, but the surrounding space seemed to be frozen, and it was difficult for him to move. Since you don't know anything, then you don't need to live anymore. Hyuga-chan's eyes flashed fiercely. Looking at Hyuga-chan's murderous intent, Black Zetsu truly felt the danger, the fatal danger. No, actually I know. Black Zetsu shouted, how he was willing to die before he resurrected his mother. Then take me there. If you dare to run, I will make your life worse than death. Hyuga-chen said coldly. This guy Black Zetsu has lived for 700 or 800 years, and he must know a lot about the situation of the tailed beast, which is why Hyuga-chen didn't kill him. Black Zetsu tried to lead the way, and he didn't know why the other party knew that he knew the whereabouts of Sanwei. My lord, my brother just heard that there was a god who resurrected the legendary beast, so he came here to defect to the lord. Black Zetsu said charmingly. When Hyuga-chan heard the words, a playful smile appeared on his face, but he didn't speak. My lord, you got 10 tails, do you want to rule the world? Black Zetsu asked tentatively. No, I want to become a 10 tails Jinchuriki, column force, launch infinite Tsukuyomi, completely quell the war, and achieve permanent peace. Hyuga-chan's serious voice came over. He sounded serious, but Hyuga-chan had an undisguised smile on his face. Black Zetsu, who was walking in front, couldn't see it, and he was ecstatic in his heart now. I didn't expect this mysterious man's plan to be completely consistent with his own plan. Wouldn't it be possible to take the opportunity to resurrect his mother? Chapter 173 Tangled Black Zetsu. My lord wants world peace. Yes, I'm tired of this kind of killing chaos. The 6 Paths Immortals ninja is wrong. Instead of helping humans, chakra has become the source of chaos. I want to end all this and let everyone live in demonic illusion. Get everything you want. Quote. Hyuga-chan stood on top of 10 tails, head, his voice was flat but contained great power. Your lord is working hard to achieve peace. You are really kind, and you are right to follow your lord. Black Zetsu said with moving tilde. I don't know how the lord learned about the method to resurrect this vicious beast. Black Zetsu glanced at 10 tails with a frightened expression and asked tentatively. After experiencing the previous ecstasy, Black Zetsu felt that Hyuga-chan's words were all loopholes. He did not guide the other party. How did the other party know infinite Tsukuyomi and 10 tails? These things are all secrets buried in history, and few people know these secrets. I learned this from a friend who had seen the stele left by the 6 Paths Immortal and told me everything written on it. Hyuga-chen glanced at Black Zetsu and said lightly. Feeling Hyuga-chen withdraw his gaze, Black Zetsu heaved a sigh of relief. Just now he felt that everything was seen through by the other party. Black Zetsu silently led the way, and didn't dare to ask blindly. The more he asked, the more the other party would doubt himself. No matter what the other party's purpose is, as long as the other party becomes a 10 tails Jinchuriki, column force, he will never be able to escape, and his mother can be resurrected at that time. What's the matter with your appearance? Shouldn't it be natural? Hyuga-chen sat crossed over 10 tails, head and asked softly. Black Zetsu was stunned for a moment, then said, "My lord, I am a born Keke Genkai. Because of his black appearance, no one likes it, and he was abandoned at birth." "Oh, I see, it seems that you are also a poor person," Hyuga-chen said with a smirk. A few days later, Black Zetsu took Hyuga-chen to a sea area. "Master Chen, Sanwei is in this sea," Black Zetsu said, pointing to the huge sea in front of him. Hyuga-chen nodded, without Black Zetsu saying, he has already sensed the chakra of the three tails. "Black Zetsu, I want to know how you know the whereabouts of Sanwei." Hyuga-chen looked at Black Zetsu with indifferent eyes. Black Zetsu is stunned. How does this make him answer? "Lord Chen, I found out about it by accident." Black Zetsu could only forcibly find an excuse to prevaricate it. Hyuga-chen glanced at Black Zetsu lightly, then reached out to the sea. Bansho Tenon, universal pull. The majestic gravitational pull pulled up the sleeping three tails in the seabed, and before the three tails woke up, 10 tails released the chains and tied the three tails. After sealing the three tails, Hyuga-chen sealed the 4 tails in again, leaving the 5 tails, 6 tails, 8 tails and Kyubi 9 tails not caught. "Black Zetsu, it's time for you to show your role. Find the whereabouts of the other 4-tailed beasts. If you can't find you, it's useless." Hyuga-chen Fenrui looked at Black Zetsu with sharp eyes. Hearing this, Black Zetsu had a bitter look on his face. He really didn't know where the other 4-tailed beasts were. He knew the whereabouts of Sanwei because Sanwei didn't like to move. But let him look for the 4-tailed beasts that can run, and Black Zetsu can't do anything. "Lord Chen, how can I find the 4-tailed beasts by myself? Aren't you embarrassing me?" Black Zetsu cried. Hyuga-chen gave Black Zetsu a deep look. It seemed that he really didn't know the whereabouts of the other 4-tailed beasts. "Then you can look for it slowly, I'm not in a hurry anyway." Hyuga-chen left a faint remark, and then left with 10 tails. He had asked Shuiheim, no matter how long he stayed in this world, it was the time he came to this world after he returned, so Hyuga-chen was not in a hurry at all. Hyuga-chen walked away. Black Zetsu's face darkened immediately, although Black Zetsu's face was originally black. "Hyuga Tatsu, Hyuga, is he a member of the Hyuga family? Why is there no Byakugan? What is his purpose and how did he know about infinite Tsukuyomi?" Black Zetsu whispered. One question after another appeared in Black Zetsu's mind, making Black Zetsu unable to think about it. Black Zetsu wants to revive Otsutsuki Kagaya, but he doesn't want to have too much contact with the mysterious Hyuga-chen. His intuition tells him that Hyuga-chen is a dangerous person. But Black Zetsu didn't want to give up this good opportunity. He had waited for more than 700 years, and he didn't want to wait any longer. So Black Zetsu was tangled and didn't know how to choose. A long time for Black Zetsu to react, and he found that he had no choice. The choice was entirely in the hands of Hyuga-chen. "I don't believe you can beat your mother. When you become a 10-tails Jinchuriki column force, your mother will be resurrected," Black Zetsu said fiercely. Black Zetsu didn't think about it at all. Hyuga-chen didn't even think about becoming a 10-tails person Jinchuriki column force. He just wanted to use the power of the divine tree to recover the chakra, and then devour the power of the divine tree. Putting 10 tails in the space created by his Tenseigan, Hyuga-chen started thinking about the benefits this world could bring him. In the Hokage theatrical version, there is a box of bliss, the final weapon of the 6 Paths Fairy period. Maybe you can find it and see if there is any in this real world. Hyuga-chen squeezed his chin and said silently. After thinking about it, Hyuga-chen went straight to the country of grass. He remembered that the box of bliss was in the country of grass, and he was very curious about the final weapon of the 6 Paths Immortal period, which was very famous. With the speed of Hyuga-chen, he soon came to the country of grass. There are also several families in the country of grass, but they are all small families that are not worth mentioning. If you want to find the box of bliss, you have to go to these families to see. There may be intelligence in those families, and perhaps the box of bliss is under the control of those families. Hyuga-chen separates out several shadow clones and asks them to search. And Hyuga-chen caught a rabbit himself and made a roast rabbit to satisfy his appetite. Night was calm and Hyuga-chen sat on the roof of a house built with mokudan, wood style, looking up at the sky. At this time, it was night, and the bright moonlight shone down, making the silent night a little brighter. He took a few branches and placed them in the brazier raised from the roof. Above the brazier was a golden rabbit with grease. Hyuga-chen, who had eaten his mouth full of oil, lay on the roof and closed his eyes silently, as if he had fallen asleep. Several figures came to the roof, one of them left a seal scroll, and then turned into smoke. Hyuga-chen opened his eyes and picked up the scroll next to him. I actually found it. Hyuga-chen held the scroll in his hand with a satisfied smile on his face. After opening the scroll, a huge box appeared in front of Hyuga-chen. There were faces on each side of the box, which were joy, anger, sadness, and joy. It looked very strange. Fear, destruction. Hyuga-chen patted the box and began to study the material of this thing. Just now, Hyuga-chen knocked on it and found that the material was very hard. I don't know if there will be this monster inside, Hyuga-chen said to himself. Chapter 174 Monsters in the Bliss Box. Hyuga-chen surrounded the box of bliss and tapped against the box of bliss. I don't think I've seen this material before. Hyuga-chen pinched his chin and thought. He always felt that he had seen this kind of material. Could it be an illusion? Impossible, Hyuga-chen directly denied it. He didn't think he would have an illusion. Carefully stroked it, Hyuga-chen took out a long sword from the treasure of the king. The long sword exuded a strange breath, and it looked like an ominous thing. This sword was obtained by Hyuga-chen from the Kagaya clan, the demon sword Muramasa, possessing the power of evil spirits, which can erode others by the power of evil spirits, as well as the master. After Hyuga-chen took out the demon sword village, the demon sword village shook slightly, and then returned to normal. Although it was only a slight shake, it was still noticed by Hyuga-chen. There seems to be some connection between these two things. Hyuga-chen frowned slightly, and then brought the demon sword village close to the box of bliss. Suddenly, the box of bliss fluctuated, and the demon sword village was submerged in it, which surprised Hyuga-chen. The box of bliss trembled for a while, then opened automatically, and a monster flew out of it, but its appearance was not the same as the monster Wu in the original book. Human, you set me free. The monster face turned to Hyuga-chen. What are you? Hyuga-chen asked lightly. Ha ha ha. The monster laughed wildly and viciously, the wind surging all around, and the dark evil power shrouded in it, shrouding Hyuga-chen in it. You don't need to know who I am, be a part of me as a reward for releasing me. The monster looked at Hyuga-chen with greedy eyes. Could it be that people can be arrogant at this time? Could it be that they were locked up stupid? Hyuga-chen looked at this huge monster with contempt. Ignorance, give me death. The monster roared angrily, and then its huge claws grabbed towards Hyuga-chen. The attack speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, it came to Hyuga-chen and tore him to pieces with one claw. Ha ha ha, this is your fate. Hyuga-chen stood high in the sky, looking at the monster below speechlessly. This brain is not good. I can't even see the avatar. It should be a problem with my brain after being locked for too long. Forget it, let this guy die. So as not to be unsightly here. The huge power of thunder condensed in Hyuga-chen's hand, and finally turned into the shape of a spear, and then threw it down at the monster below. Boom! After the thunder spear penetrated the monster, it burst open, and the powerful thunder and lightning raged. The electric mons here can be seen from a few kilometers away. After the thunder completely disappeared, the earth had turned into a piece of scorched earth, and the monster had fallen to the ground. Just when Hyuga-chen thought it was solved, the box of bliss suddenly drilled into the monster's body, and the huge black-purple monster slowly shrunk, and then turned into a human form. Thanks to you. You can call me Muramasa for freeing me completely. Muramasa looked at Hyuga-chen cruelly. his eyes flashing with murderous intent and madness. I didn't expect to actually shoot myself in the foot, what a mistake. Hyuga Chen shook his head. This guy's name is Muramasa, and he obviously has a connection with the Yaodao village. Maybe he won't take out the Yaodao Muramasa. Something will happen. Don't worry, I won't kill you, you are the best choice for my strength. Muramasa smiled strangely. Kill me, do you have the ability to kill me? Hyuga Chen pouted in disdain. He swallowed the power of the dog charm and was immortal. What did the other party use to kill him? Muramasa didn't talk nonsense. He leapt into the sky, and 2 black wings appeared on his back. You kind of trash, you have no chance to get close to me, the field of repulsion. Hyuga Chen said lightly. Forms a repulsive force protection circle around Hyuga Chen. Anyone who approaches Hyuga Chen will be bounced back by the repulsive force. Muramasa was no exception. He didn't have the strength to break through the repulsion circle. No matter how he attacked, he didn't have the ability to get close to Hyuga Chen. Ah ha ha, I'm getting more and more excited. Muramasa laughed wildly. A long knife appeared in his hand, and he kept slashing at Hyuga Chen. This long knife was the previous demon sword Muramasa. The face of Muramasa's crazy shouting. Hyuga Chen just watched quietly, as if watching a monkey show. Hyuga Chen was a little speechless when he saw that Muramasa was still attacking. This guy is really endless, no different from a lunatic. Deal with you completely. A pitch-black long sword appeared in Hyuga Chen's hand, which was a long sword formed by Gudodama, truth-seeking ball. Put away the field of repulsion, and then instantly came to the front of the village, and slashed down with a knife. Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, has the power to turn people without the power of 6 paths into nothingness, and it's no problem to hack an unknown monster. After the knife was cut down, a deep ravine appeared in the ground, and the monster Muramasa had disappeared, along with the box of bliss, leaving the demon sword village falling to the ground. Hyuga Chen used gravity to grab the demon sword village, which had fallen on the ground. As soon as he held it in his hand, the demon sword village made a cracking sound, and finally broke into pieces with a bang. What is this? It doesn't matter if the box of bliss is gone, but the demon sword village is still being paid for. Hyuga Chen said speechlessly. Although Yaodao village is at best a viewing item, it is better than nothing. This time Hyuga Chen was at a loss, a big loss. I came here in vain, and I actually paid the Yaodao village into it. It's really bad luck. Hyuga Chen shook his head depressedly, and went into the cabin to sleep. The second 1010 was lit up. Hyuga Chen stretched and then ran to wash up. In fact, he didn't need to rest at all now, but the habit that has been maintained for a long time cannot be easily changed. Washing and eating breakfast, Hyuga Chen left the country of grass and headed to the country of fire. He found a place to settle down in the land of fire, Hyuga Chen, and then began to slowly search for the whereabouts of the tailed beast. Looking at the group of 10 tails chakra in his hand, Hyuga Chen began to close his eyes and meditate. 10 tails resurrected 5.5, and he finally got 10 tails chakra as he wished. Holding this ball of chakra, Hyuga Chen slowly merged into his body, and then manipulated the power of Sage Art chakra and the Yin-Yang 6 paths to start the fusion of the 3. This is also Hyuga Chen's plan from the beginning. Hyuga Chen was preparing to enter the 6 paths level like this from the beginning. However, the plan couldn't keep up with the fast changes. I didn't expect that he drew Rinnegan, got Rinnegan, S.I. Devourer, devoured Otsutsuki Hamura, S. Chakra, and was directly promoted to the 6 paths level. However, although he has become a 6 paths level, it can only be said that he is entering 6 paths for the first time. If he successfully integrates 10 tails chakra, Sage Art chakra, and the power of 6 paths, he can cross to the highest level of 6 paths. Vertex. So even though he became a 6 paths class, Hyuga Chen did not forget this plan. Now that all the preparations were completed, it was time to implement it. Chapter 175 Feet Lessons, Snowheim. Fusion of these 3 powers is not difficult for Hyuga Chen, but it is not easy, and it takes a lot of time. Then 10 days, Hyuga-chen has been merging these three powers for more than 10 consecutive days, and it was not until today that the complete fusion was completed. Feeling the quality of chakra in his body raised by one level, Hyuga-chen smiled with satisfaction, although he did not increase his combat power too much, but it also increased. Especially his ninjutsu, the power released is several times stronger than before. After merging these three powers, Hyuga-chen let out a sigh of relief, and then prepared to go to the system space to see Shueheim and the others. Soon as he entered the system space, Hyuga-chen was stunned, and saw Shueheim lying comfortably on the chair, while Sarah pinched her leg in aggrieved. Hyuga-chen in front of them, Shueheim and Sarah were also stunned, but they didn't expect Hyuga-chen to come in at this time. Shueheim stood up immediately, his eyes were erratic, and his heart was very nervous. Sarah looked at Hyuga-chen, tears of grievance flowed out, and she suddenly jumped into Hyuga-chen's arms, crying. Woo, Chen, she bullied me, she asked me to pinch her legs, and if she didn't give me food, I would punish me if I didn't obey. Sarah cried to Hyuga-chen. Hey, when will I not feed you? Don't falsely accuse good people. Shueheim looked at Sarah angrily. Shueheim, what's the matter? How did you bully Sarah? Hyuga-chen frowned at Shueheim. I was just playing with her, and I didn't bully her very much. Shueheim said in a low voice. She didn't bully Sarah much, but Sarah was just timid. Sarah got angry and said loudly, you locked me in a small dark room and pretended to be a ghost to scare me. Are you kidding me? She has now been scared out of the psychological shadow by Shueheim. Shueheim smiled shyly, lowered his head and whispered, it's not that you are timid, I don't feel there is anything to be afraid of. Snoheim, come here. Hyuga-chen shouted angrily. Seeing Hyuga-chen's angry expression, Shueheim's body froze, and then walked over, looking at Hyuga-chen pitifully with big eyes, trying to avoid this disaster by pretending to be pitiful. Although Shueheim looks pity to me, it is easy to arouse pity, but Hyuga-chen doesn't want to eat this, he has to teach Shueheim a lesson today. Sarah was brought in by him to take care of her, but Shueheim actually bullied others and didn't teach her a good lesson. I was wrong, please forgive me this time. Shueheim pouted, her eyes were like twinkling stars, and she instantly changed into a maid outfit. Hyuga-chen looked at Shueheim's seductive appearance, swallowed hard, then closed his eyes, determined not to be tempted. Master, I was wrong meow. Forgive me meow. Shueheim hugged Hyuga-chen's arms with both arms and kept rubbing against her chest. Feeling the softness from his arms and the soft and lazy voice of Snoheim, like a kitten, Hyuga-chen couldn't help but glanced at him. Then Hyuga-chen couldn't take his eyes away, only to see the current Shueheim, who had changed into a white cute cat costume, looking at him with cute eyes. I didn't expect Shueheim to have such a side, what a goblin. Hyuga-chen said secretly in his heart. However, on the surface, Hyuga-chen is still a real person Kunzi, unmoved by external things, which makes Sarah look at Hyuga-chen with admiration. Then Sarah looked at Snoheim with contempt. Humph! Seeing that Hyuga-chen was unmoved, with a posture of insisting on punishing her, Shueheim snorted coldly, and immediately released Hyuga-chen's arm, turning her head to ignore him. He also changed his clothes back, making Hyuga-chen, who had been peeking at him, slightly disappointed. He regretted it in his heart. Anyway, he wasn't a decent person Kunzi, and he just pretended to be a decent person Kunzi. The chance to take advantage was gone, and Hyuga-chen regretted his bowels. But it doesn't matter, since the one who delivered it to your door is not sure, you can only fight for it yourself. Sarah, don't worry, I will take care of her this time, so that she will never dare to bully you again in the future. Yeah, Sarah nodded, looking at Hyuga-chen, wanting to see how he cleans up Shueheim. She looked relieved. Snoheim, come here. Hyuga-chen shouted in a deep voice. Shueheim glared angrily at Sarah, who was watching a good show next to her, and then reluctantly walked up to Hyuga-chen, the old gal with a pouted mouth, he could hang up. The face of Shueheim's eyes attack, Sarah stared back, not to be outdone. Anyway, with Hyuga-chen here, Sarah is not afraid of her. It's obviously you who bullied others, but looking at the way you are now, people who don't know think I'm bullying you. Hyuga-chen first reached out and pinched Shui Haim's nose. It was you who bullied me. Shui Haim pouted. Since you've said it all, then I won't be able to bully you. Hyuga-chen laughed twice, and the laughing Shui Haim panicked. 2 steps back, Shui Haim was about to run when Hyuga-chen grabbed her, pressed her to his lap, and slapped Shui Haim's ass. Snapped. Hearing a crisp sound, Shui Haim looked at Hyuga-chen with embarrassed ears and Yuhi's ears. Looks like you're not convinced, right? If you're not convinced, I'll fight again. Hyuga-chen raised his hand and slapped him again. Shui Haim's face Yuhi was extremely moist. She didn't dare to raise her head at all, lying on Hyuga-chen's lap motionless. Hyuga-chen didn't want to stop his hand at all, just a series of slaps at Shui Haim. This kind of soft touch made Hyuga-chen feel unable to stop. Shui Haim was lying on Hyuga-chen's lap. Her eyes were like spring water, and the numb pain gave her a special feeling. I didn't expect that I would be inclined to be new. It's a shame. I must not let that guy know about it, or he will definitely change his way to bully me. Shui Haim thought to himself. Thinking of how she was being bullied by Hyuga-chen, Shui Haim's body softened again, and a suspicious Yuhi dizziness appeared on her face, lying on Hyuga-chen's lap motionless. Sarah stood beside her, and could clearly see Shui Haim's expression. Seeing that Shui Haim's face was Yuhi, biting Kiba with a depressed look, she thought she was in pain. So Sarah was very happy and kept making faces at Shui Haim in revenge for being scared. Shui Haim looked at Sarah's grimacing face, but was relieved. Fortunately, Sarah, a stupid girl, couldn't see it, or she would lose her face. Seeing that Shui Haim was silent, Hyuga-chen thought that Shui Haim was angry, and the raised palm fell gently, stroking the place he just hit. Then he asked softly, "Does it still hurt?" Shui Haim was stunned for a moment and then reacted. Listening to Hyuga-chen's gentle voice, she felt a little sweet in her heart, and the small resentment she had originally dissipated. "It doesn't hurt," Shui Haim replied sweetly. Chapter 176 Asura Reincarnation Senju Flat Room. Hyuga-chen reached out and pulled Yuki Haim up. Shui Haim has calmed down the emotions in his heart at this time, and the Yuhi run on his face is not so obvious, so Hyuga-chen didn't find anything. Shui Haim was relieved when she saw it, but the sticky bottom made her very uncomfortable. "What's wrong with you, Shui Haim? Is it still painful?" Hyuga-chen asked in confusion, looking at Shui Haim's awkward look. Shui Haim froze for a moment, then waved his hand and said, "It's okay, it's just a little uncomfortable. I didn't expect you to actually be able to do it." Facing Shui Haim's resentful eyes, Hyuga-chen was a little embarrassed, but Shui Haim did make Hyuga-chen a little angry this time. "Who asked you to bully Sarah? If you dare to bully Sarah again in the future, I won't forgive you lightly. I'll break your little ass then." Hyuga-chen gestured at Yuki Haim with her palm. Shui Haim gave Yuhi a face, and then nodded lightly, indicating that she would never bully Sarah again. Sarah snorted coldly and forgave Shui Haim under Hyuga-chen's persuasion, but she still had a lot of resentment in her heart. If it wasn't for being caught by Hyuga-chen this time, she might continue to be bullied by Shui Haim in the future. "Sarah, don't you want to practice? Let Shui Haim teach you 453 well and compensate you." Hyuga-chen stroked Sarah's smooth hair. Looking at Sarah's beautiful Yuhi hair, Hyuga-chen suddenly misses Kushina and the others. Shui Haim and Sarah for a while, Hyuga-chen left the system space. He also thought about finding the tailed beast, plundering all the chakras in this world, and then returning to his world. After Hyuga-chen left, Shui Haim and Sarah looked at each other. Sarah's eyes flashed with a slight fear, and she looked at Shui Haim vigilantly. "Don't worry, I've promised Chen not to bully you." Shui Haim gave Sarah an angry look and said. Sarah was still vigilant, obviously not believing in Snow Haim very much. Shuiheim snorted softly and went to take a bath. She was very uncomfortable now. In more than 10 days, the wooden clones sent by Hyuga-chan have found Wu-wei and Lu-wei, and brought them back. Hyuga-chan's wooden clone is not weak, although it is exaggerated to divide 10,000 wooden clones, but Hyuga-chan's chakra is majestic, and the wooden clone is still strong, so it is not impossible to catch tailed beasts. The 5, 6, and 7 tails are all sealed, and now only the 8 tails and Kyubi, 9 tails, are left. Hyuga-chan wasn't in a hurry, and from time to time inquired about news, or went to the system space to have a relationship with 2 beautiful girls who were bubbling with beauty, and they lived happily ever after. Hyuga-chan is happy, but some people are anxious. For example, Senju Pingjan. Senju Pingjan is the patriarch of the Senju family, and he also has an identity, that is, the reincarnation of Ashura's chakra. Since getting the news from the Slug Fairy, Senju has been unable to sit still. So Senju Piraeus visited the old rival Uchiha clan and wanted to communicate with the current Uchiha clan chief Uchiha Tobu. But Senju Pingma was ruthlessly driven out by Uchiha Tobu, and even almost caused a war. If it wasn't for Senju Pingma's desperate pressure, his guards would have fought with Uchiha Tobu. Patriarch Uchiha, please think about it, this is for the sake of the entire ninja world. No need, because of a phantom news, you actually came to me to form an alliance. It's ridiculous. The Senju clan has such an idiot patriarch, and your Senju clan will not last long. Uchiha Tobu said coldly. Uchiha Tobu, you are arrogant, the patriarch of our Senju clan is all you can say. Senju tribesmen who followed the Senju Ping scolded. I'm talking to your patriarch, when it's your turn to interject, Uchiha Tobu is also what you can call. Uchiha Tobu said coldly and arrogantly, the kunai in his hand flew out and stabbed the Senju clan who was scolding. Speed was very fast, and the Senju people of the Jonin level were somewhat unable to react. When he did, kunai had already arrived at his door. Seeing that he was about to be stabbed to death by kunai, Senju Pingping blocked the kunai. Humph. Seeing Senju Pingping rescue the Senju family ninja, Uchiha Tobu snorted coldly to express his dissatisfaction. Patriarch Uchiha, I know you have a prejudice against the Senju family, but the ninja world is in danger, can't we let go of our prejudice? Senju Pingjan painstakingly persuaded. Even if the world is going to be destroyed, my Uchiha family will not let go of prejudice with you. Get out of here, or don't blame me for leaving you guys. Uchiha Tobu said coldly, and the ninja of the Uchiha family behind him also stepped forward. The grievances between the Uchiha family and the Senju family go back a long time, and they are irreconcilable. Childish idiot, Uchiha Tobu sneered while looking at Senju's slumped expression. Senju Piraeus left with the 2 guards a little dejected. The patriarch, the bastards of the Uchiha family, don't appreciate it at all, why bother with a warm face and a cold ass? The bastards of the Uchiha family, they will be destroyed sooner or later. I really don't know what to do with arrogance. Obviously, the largest family in the ninja world is our Senju family. Another guard was also very upset. Enough, don't say more. Senju scolded in a low voice, and then said, let's go to the Hyuga family and visit the Hyuga family. Senju Pingma's scolding made them shut their mouths. They were still in awe of Senju Pingma's patriarch. Whether it is strength or charisma, Senju Pingjan is highly recognized by the Senju family. The only thing that is unhappy with Senju Pingjan is that he is too soft-hearted. Patriarch, it is rumored that the person who resurrected the world-destroying beast is called Hyuga-chen. Are you going to ask the guilt, Patriarch? Shut up, don't make random guesses until things don't come out. Maybe someone said that the person who resurrected the world-destroying beast is from the Hyuga family because of the Hyuga family. Don't talk nonsense, Senju Pingfang warned. Understood the patriarch, we will not talk too much. The 2 guards nodded, they understood what to say and what not to say. Although the Senju family is the strongest family, it does not mean that they can ignore other families, such as the Uchiha family. In fact, they are not weaker than the Senju family at all. The Senju clan did not dare to say that they would definitely defeat the Uchiha clan if the war really started. The Hyuga family is also a top-level family, and its strength is slightly inferior to the Senju family and the Uchiha family. It is a big family of the same level as the Senju family. They also don't want to offend the Hyuga family and bring a big enemy to the Senju family. Senju went to visit the Hyuga family. One was to convince the Hyuga Chen family to unite, and the other was to inquire about Hyuga Chen. There is no wind and no waves. The whole ninja world is rumored that it was Hyuga Chen who resurrected the world-destroying beast, so there must be a reason. He has to find out and see if he can get any news. Chapter 177 Big Toad Sage and Otsutsuki Hagoromo. This brother, Senju Pingfan is visiting, please also inform your patriarch. Senju Pingfan said calmly. Although the other party was just a ninja guarding the door, Senju Pingfan still didn't put on any airs. It turned out to be the Senju patriarch. I'll report to our patriarch. The guard who guarded the gate said quickly. The patriarch of the Senju family came to visit. This guard did not dare to neglect, and quickly went to inform their patriarch. Patriarch Hyuga didn't take it lightly, and came to greet him in person. The patriarch of the Senju family came to visit, and naturally he wanted to save face. I don't know why the Senju patriarch came here. After inviting Senju Pingfang in, the Hyuga patriarch asked straight to the point. Senju pondered for a while, and then said, the Hyuga patriarch must have heard the rumors about the current ninja world, right? Patriarch Hyuga's face immediately turned ugly and his attitude became indifferent. If the Senju patriarch is here to ask about this, please come back. Hyuga patriarch said with a cold face. Senju Hirata saw Chief Hyuga's attitude and knew that he had misunderstood, so he said quickly. The Hyuga clan has misunderstood. I came here just to form an alliance with the Hyuga clan to deal with the world-destroying monster Ten Tails. Patriarch Hyuga's face softened, and then he said suspiciously, 10 Tails. I only heard about Kyubi, 9 Tails, I don't know what 10 Tails are. The beast that was resurrected is 10 Tails. The 9-tailed beasts seem to be related to 10 Tails. They were all told to me by the slug fairy from Shikatsu Forest, and I don't know much about it. Senju said flatly. In this case, on behalf of the Hyuga clan, I agree to form an alliance with the Senju clan. The Hyuga clan chief nodded and said, forming an ally with the Senju clan is only beneficial to their Hyuga clan, not harmful. After talking for a while, Senju Piraeus left. Patriarch Senju. Senju Piraeus turned his head in confusion and looked at Chief Hyuga. Our Hyuga family, there has never been a person like Hyuga Chen. The Hyuga patriarch said sternly. I believe in Chief Hyuga. Senju nodded, and left Hyuga's house. Patriarch, do you think the Hyuga family's patriarch lied? The news came from Mount Myoboku, so there shouldn't be a mistake. Does the name Hyuga Chen have to be from the Hyuga family? Stop talking about that, and visit other families with me. Senju Heira interrupted the guard's words. Senju then visited families large and small, and most of them agreed to form an alliance. Hyuga Chen didn't know that someone had formed an alliance to deal with him, but even if he knew, he wouldn't take it to heart. Even if they didn't deal with him, Hyuga Chen wouldn't let them go. Mount Myoboku. A mortal big toad opened his tightly closed eyes, looking at the figure that appeared silently in front of him. His eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a little surprise and vigilance. You don't seem very happy to see an old friend. Otsutsuki Hagoromo said lightly. You really didn't die. I don't know why you came to me. Asked the old voice of a mortal big toad. I want to know who the one who resurrected the 10 Tails was. Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the purple Rinnegan staring at the big toad sage, was extremely sharp. A mortal big toad tightened slightly and said in a low voice, aren't you immortal 6 paths? How can I know Akatsuki if you don't know anything? Gamamaru, looking at the past friendship, I don't want to fight with you, but my patience is limited, don't force me to destroy Mount Myoboku. Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked at the big-toed immortal indifferently. Gamamaru was angry, and a huge momentum rose from his old body, cracking a huge hole in the surrounding earthquake. As a contemporary of Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Gamamaru, who even taught Otsutsuki Hagoromo sage art, how could he be weak? A huge chakra is earth-shattering. Even if a 6 paths level person sees it, they should be alert to 3 points. Gamamaru, you want to fight with me? Otsutsuki Hagoromo's eyes twinkled. Gamamaru thought for a moment, then put away the momentum and regained his peace again. First of all, he has no confidence in facing Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and secondly, here is Mount Myoboku. Once the two of them fight, Mount Myoboku will not be able to keep it, and Gamamaru has a lot of concerns. I only know that the other party is called Hyuga-chen. He wants to plunder the whole world. His ambition is bigger than yours. I don't know about the rest. After Gamamaru finished speaking, he closed his eyes. Really? Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked at Gamamaru suspiciously, suspecting that he wasn't telling the truth. He is our common enemy. There is no need for me to deceive you. Gamamaru opened his eyes again, his eyes more solemn. Closing his eyes just now, let him see a small fragment of the future again. He saw that the earth was shattered, no grass was alive, and there was a dead silence. Gamamaru also saw his own tragic death, the demise of Mount Myoboku. Gamamaru couldn't sit still now, he felt he had to do something. Before, he just saw Hyuga-chen resurrecting 10 tails and then becoming an enemy of the whole world. At that time, although Gamamaru paid attention to it, he was not too nervous. Now that he saw his tragic death, Gamamaru couldn't be so calm. Although Gamamaru has lived for thousands of years, longer than Otsutsuki Hagoromo, it doesn't mean that he wants to die. Hagoromo, let's join forces. Gamamaru looked at Otsutsuki Hagoromo seriously. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was taken aback. Not long after he sealed his mother, his relationship with Gamamaru broke down, basically not getting along with each other. Now Gamamaru asked him to join forces with a serious face, which really surprised him. Why? That Hyuga-chen is very powerful. I just saw the fragment where you and I all died in the hands of the other party. Gamamaru said without changing his face. Gamamaru didn't foresee the fragment where Otsutsuki Hagoromo died in the hands of the other party, but in order to get Otsutsuki Hagoromo to join forces with him, Gamamaru also lied. Otsutsuki Hagoromo stared closely at Gamamaru, not seeing anything wrong. Okay, I believe in you 3.0, when the time comes we will join forces. Otsutsuki Hagoromo nodded, his expression not fluctuating at all. Gamamaru nodded, not completely trusting Otsutsuki Hagoromo in his heart. He had learned the true face of Otsutsuki Hagoromo a long time ago, and naturally he would not trust him. After chatting with Gamamaru, Otsutsuki Hagoromo left the psychic world Mount Myoboku. After Otsutsuki Hagoromo left, Gamamaru fell into deep thought, and after a long time he sent a message to the other two holy places, the slug and white snakes of Shikatsu Forest and Ryachi Cave. He couldn't count on the ambitious guy Otsutsuki Hagoromo. He could only look for the two old fellows of his generation, the slug immortal and the white snake immortal. Although the relationship between the three holy places is not good, but Gamamaru has the confidence to drag them into the water. Just to save his own life, Gamamaru has to pull them in without leaving any room. Chapter 178 Sacred Tree. Yao has arrived. Hyuga-chen looked at the 8 tails bound by the chains, with excitement in his eyes. There is only one Kyubi, 9 tails, left. As long as you get Kyubi, 9 tails, the plan will be fully opened. The greedy flame in Hyuga-chan's eyes can burn the entire world. Phew, 10 tails growled, his body shaking continuously. Give me a little quiet. Hyuga-chen glanced at 10 tails, and 10 tails, who had been shaking and roaring, settled down. I'll take care of you later. Hyuga-chan's eyes flickered coldly, and his eyes looked into the distance, as if piercing through everything. ... Failed. Otsutsuki Hagoromo frowned slightly. He wanted to channel Ten Tails, but was blocked by a powerful force, and finally failed. This failure also made Otsutsuki Hagoromo's expression dignified, and the mentality that he didn't take the other party into his eyes disappeared. Could it be that what Gamamaru said is true? I will really die at the hands of the other party. Otsutsuki Hagoromo murmured to himself with a cold glint in his eyes. Forget it, prepare early. Be prepared. Otsutsuki Hagoromo shook his head, and the power of 13 two paths, one yin and one yang, flew into the distance. These two forces drilled into the bodies of Senju Piraeus and Uchiha Tobu respectively, the two of whom were the reincarnations of this generation's Asura and Indra's chakra. And those two powers are 6 paths yang power and 6 paths yin power. At a critical moment, the two of them will awaken their power and become his two thugs, one of Otsutsuki Hagoromo's backup men. Ninjas in the entire ninja world are frantically looking for Ten Tails and Hyuga-chen, but Hyuga-chen himself doesn't show up, and they can't find them even if they search for a lifetime. As the location of Kyubi, Nine Tails confirmed, Hyuga-chen glanced at Black Zetsu with sharp eyes. Yes, Lord Chen, the location of Kyubi, Nine Tails, has been determined, in a canyon in the Land of Fire. Black Zetsu said respectfully. Now that the location is determined, take me there. When Kyubi, Nine Tails, catches it, that's when my plan begins, and you'll be a witness to world peace. Hyuga-chen reached out and patted Black Zetsu's shoulder, and a black curse mark in his hand entered Black Zetsu's body without him noticing. Led by Black Zetsu, Hyuga-chen soon saw Kyubi, Nine Tails the big fox, and did not give Kyubi, Nine Tails, a chance to show his strength, and instantly won Kyubi, Nine Tails, and then gave Kyubi, Nine Tails, a chance to show his strength. Tails put on the collar. Kyubi, Nine Tails, Ten Tails finally got back all their power. No, it should be said to be stronger, because the current Ten Tails and the Tailed Beast chakra obtained by Hyuga-chen in his world. Ten Tails let out a roar, and the huge and monstrous Nine Tomo Samsara Sharingan bloomed with the light of blood Yuhi, and the world became dark. Tatsu-sama, don't you become a Ten Tails Jinchuriki column force. Black Zetsu looked at Hyuga Tatsu who was motionless, a little anxious in his heart. Black Zetsu, I've already got the 9-tailed beasts, you don't seem to be of any use. Hyuga-chen said calmly, with a playful smile on his face. What do you mean? I don't understand what Chen-sama said. Black Zetsu was sweating coldly on his forehead, his body kept retreating, and he was ready to escape. Seeing that Hyuga-chen didn't make a move, Black Zetsu's heart moved, and then he quickly fled into the distance, scolding the 18th generation of Hyuga-chan's ancestors in his heart. Watching Black Zetsu run away, Hyuga-chen didn't chase after him, but jumped onto Ten Tails' body and quietly waited for the enemy's arrival. Black Zetsu noticed that Hyuga-chen was not chasing after him, and secretly rejoiced in his heart, revealing a smile of the rest of his life. However, before he could be happy, the black spell spread all over his body, and Black Zetsu lost consciousness and turned into a corpse without even showing his shocked expression. Looking at Black Zetsu's corpse in the distance, Hyuga-chen smiled sarcastically. He wanted to run away in his hands. Could he run away? Manipulating gravity to grab Black Zetsu's body and throw it into Ten Tails' mouth. At this time, under the control of Hyuga-chen, Ten Tails also changed, and began to evolve again, becoming a towering tree standing in the sky, and a slowly opening flower bud appeared at the top, becoming the final form of the god tree. Hyuga-chen smiled with satisfaction. The hard work for this period of time has finally come to fruition. Suddenly Hyuga-chen's face froze. He remembered a very important thing, that is, he will not be the demonic illusion of infinite Tsukuyomi. Do you really want to open one eye on your forehead and become 3 eyes in the future? It's too ugly, even if you can close it. I don't want it. Hyuga-chen kept shaking his head, resolutely not wanting the 3rd eye. Go to the system space and see if the system store has infinite Tsukuyomi for sale. Hyuga-chen dodged into the system space, looking for the system for emergency help. Snowheim. Quickly screen out the demonic illusion of infinite Tsukuyomi. I want to buy it. Hyuga-chen hurriedly shouted. I knew for a long time that you would come, hey. This is a chance to use infinite Tsukuyomi. It was originally worth 100,000 exchange points. Since you are so poor, I will charge you 80,000. Yuki-hime finished speaking. A ray of light entered Hyuga-chen's eyes, and Hyuga-chen could now feel the existence of this pupil technique. Seeing that the original 380,000 exchange points had lost 80,000 in an instant, Hyuga-chen felt a little pain in his heart. It cost me 80,000 oceans to buy a one-off item. Hyuga-chen said rather depressed. You need 1 million exchange points forever. Even if I give you a discount, you can't afford it, and there is no need to buy it. When you devour the power of 10 tails, you will naturally get infinite Tsukuyomi. Snowheim said softly. Hyuga-chen nodded, then said goodbye to Shueheim and Sarah, and left the system space. He can't stay in the system space for too long, otherwise what if someone comes to pick the fruit? 10 tails he worked so hard to resurrect were snatched away by others, it would be a shame. When he came out of the system space, no one came to pick peaches, but the ninjas of the major families had already surrounded him. When Hyuga-chen came to catch Kyubi, 9 tails, he was very arrogant, and the one who controlled 10 tails swaggered over, and they would naturally be discovered by them. Yo, I'm all here, I don't have anything good to entertain you here, I'm so sorry. Hyuga-chen said frivolously. Are you Hyuga-chen? Senju looked at Hyuga-chen with a frown. Yes, I am Hyuga-chen. Why did you resurrect the 10 tails? Senju scowled. It turned out to be you bastard. Kagaya Shota finally found you. Kagaya Shota looked at Hyuga-chen with a grim expression, like a ghost. Who are you? Hyuga-chen asked with a frown. What? You don't even know who I am. Kagaya Shota was shaking with anger. He was beaten by the other party, and the other party looked like he didn't know him, which was a shame. 3721. Kagaya Shota rushed up angrily, and was then entangled by the roots of the sacred tree, sucking it into a mummified corpse. A ninja who was not weak just died like this. He died without even showing his strength, causing the ninjas of the major families to quickly back up a few steps, terrified. Chapter 179 Launch Infinite Tsukuyomi. I won't fight with your group of miscellaneous soldiers, you should die in your sleep. Hyuga-chen formed a repulsion circle with repulsion, excluding everyone, without killing a single person. It's not that Hyuga-chen is kind-hearted and doesn't want to kill people, but that if they die, they won't have that much value. Hyuga-chen stood there quietly, waiting for the divine tree to bloom, and as long as the divine tree bloomed, he activated infinite Tsukuyomi. Senju, with the ninja, frantically attacked the circle formed by Hyuga-chen's repulsion. Looking at Senju Pingfang and Uchiha Tobu, sensing the strange chakra in their bodies, Hyuga-chen pouted in disdain. Through the special chakras in their bodies, Hyuga-chen knew that the two of them were the chakra reincarnations of the two brothers Indra and Asura. However, the strength of these two is a bit weak. Anyway, compared to Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, the strength of the two of them is far worse. What on earth are you trying to do? Senju yelled, his instinct not feeling good. Hyuga-chen smiled and said, I want to achieve peace, and if I succeed, there will never be war. Peace? It's ridiculous, there will never be peace in this world. Uchiha Tobu looked at Hyuga-chen coldly, as if looking at an idiot. Ha ha ha, it's really ignorant. If I want to achieve world peace, it will definitely be peaceful, and there won't be the slightest struggle. Hyuga-chen laughed. Coming to Hokage, a world with the theme of the pursuit of peace, how could Hyuga-chen not achieve peace? What do you want to do? Senju asked calmly, looking at Hyuga-chen. As long as there are living beings, there will be fights in this world, so I want to exterminate all living things and make everything dead. When there are no living beings, there will be no fights, and the world will be peaceful. Hyuga-chen said with a smile on his face. Mad, you lunatic, what's the point of such peace? Everyone glared at Hyuga-chen. This is to destroy the world and destroy humanity. Hyuga-chan closed his eyes and ignored them at all, waiting for the buds of the divine tree to bloom. Don't hide it, attack with all your strength to stop this lunatic, or everyone will die. Senju shouted loudly, and the attack became more ferocious. What's the relationship between you and our Hyuga family? The Hyuga patriarch asked coldly. Hyuga-chen opened his eyes and glanced at him, then closed his eyes again, ignoring his question at all. After waiting for a while, the divine tree finally bloomed. At the moment when the sacred tree bloomed, Hyuga-chen opened his eyes and flew up. Infinite Tsukuyomi. The full moon in the sky turned into the Yuhi-colored 9-tomo Samsara Sharingan, and the light shone on the world, except for Uchiha Tobu, who was protected by Susanoo. The rest of the people did not hide. All are immersed in infinite Tsukuyomi's sweet dreams. God World of Trees Wall. Infinite Tsukuyomi in the whole earth are wrapped up and connected to the Tree of Gods. Including the psychic world was also under the spatial control of Hyuga-chan, opened the space channel, and was affected. Except for the three immortals of the three holy places, all of them and the people of the ninja world ended up. Hyuga-chen stood on the butt of 10 tails and used God Eater to start devouring chakra and life force. The almost infinite chakra and vitality were swallowed by Hyuga-chen like a whale, and then turned into his own. Through the connection between the divine tree and the earth, Hyuga-chen devours the life energy of the earth and the force of nature together. Just when Hyuga-chen was happy, 3 huge figures appeared, and an old man wearing a white robe with Tomo's mark on it also appeared. Yo, here are some big fish. Hyuga-chen said with a smile on his face as he felt the 4 strong breaths. Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked at Hyuga-chen indifferently. Hyuga-chen is now moving his interests, the sin is unforgivable. Young man, as long as you stop, we can forgive your mistakes. Gamamaru's incomparably old voice sounded. His voice was extraordinarily gentle and convincing. Old toad, put away your little tricks. It doesn't work for me. Hyuga-chen said with a sneer. Demonic illusion with just a little sound is not on the table at all. Why are you talking nonsense with this kid? I'll go and swallow him. The white snake immortal's eyes gleamed greedily. If he can devour Hyuga-chen, he may be able to go a step further and even transform into a dragon. Thinking of this, immortal white snake's saliva flowed out. Damn, your stinky snake's eyes are really disgusting. I'll kill you in a while. Hyuga-chen said unhappily. Hyuga-chen separates a wooden clone, and then lets the wooden clone deal with the snake. Stinky boy, you look down on me. The white snake immortal was furious when she saw Hyuga-chen let her clone deal with her. His white snake immortal has lived for thousands of years, and the 6 paths immortal can only be a junior here. When has he been so despised by others? What if I look down on you? If you want me to look down on you, just show your strength. Hyuga-chen looked at the white snake immortal with indifferent eyes. Facing Hyuga-chen's eyes, the white snake immortal's eyes showed a trace of fear, and the sense of crisis in his heart kept warning him to leave here. The eyes are so terrifying, even that guy Otsutsuki Hagoromo can't compare. The white snake immortal said secretly. While the white snake immortal was thinking wildly, Hyuga-chan's wooden avatar kicked out a kick, cutting the white snake immortal in half. However, the white snake immortal immediately shattered into countless small snakes, and then reassembled. If people with intensive phobia see this, it is estimated that they will commit suicide. Otsutsuki Hagoromo took a deep look at Hyuga Tatsu, and then rescued Senju, who was hit by infinite Tsukuyomi. He then activated the power of the 6 paths within Senju Harama and Uchiha Tobu, causing the 2 of them to explode in strength. Senju opened the 6 paths Sage mode, and Uchiha Tobu's eyes evolved from Mangekyo Sharingan to Rinnegan, skipping the stage of Eternal Mangekyo. The corners of Hyuga-chen's eyes twitched. You are so blatant, does your father know? Oh, by the way, your father is here, and it was your father who opened it for you. Hyuga-chen can only be persuaded by this wave of manipulation. The 2 barely considered super cage level people, under the power of Otsutsuki Hagoromo, have initially possessed the combat power of 6 paths level. Can Hyuga-chan refuse to accept it? Hyuga-chan looked jealous. Although he also had a cheater, he had practiced so hard at the beginning to get this strength. Compared with these two high-strength goods, Hyuga-chan felt a bit hard. With such a powerful force, who else is my opponent? Uchiha Tobu shouted excitedly, clenching his fists. Hyuga-chan pouted. You glanced around. The strength of the two of you brothers here is at the bottom, and it's ridiculous to feel that you are invincible. Chapter 180 Slug Fairy Dead Desperate Gamamaru. This old man, may I ask who you are? Senju asked Otsutsuki Hagoromo respectfully. The other party saved him, and he would not forget this kindness. I am the creator of the peaceful order of the world, Immortal Six Paths. Otsutsuki Hagoromo's majestic voice resounded through the heavens and the earth, as if swearing that he was the ruler of this world. I'll go to your sister's world peacemaker. Hyuga-chan's big feet were printed on Otsutsuki Hagoromo's face. I just swore Otsutsuki Hagoromo that I am very stubborn, and now I don't know where I was kicked and flew. You are the creator of world peace and order, so I am the creator of the world's destruction and chaos. Hyuga-chan roared unhappily. He hates when other people put pressure on his face. Turned around to catch Uchiha Tobu's sneak attacking fist, and then punched back, deforming Uchiha Tobu's face. Seeing this scene, Senju Pingba hurried over to save people, but what greeted him was a quick kick from Hyuga Chengguang. Was a sound of bones shattering, and Senju flew several kilometers from the ground, smashing into the ground, causing the ground to tremble slightly. Now that he has started, Gamamaru and the Slug Fairy can't watch. Gamamaru spit out a powerful water Jinchuriki column that can easily crush a mountain. The Slug Fairy spit out corrosive slime. Super Shinra Tensai Almighty Push sign. All the attacks were deflected. Hyuga-chan stood proudly, with a look of disdain in his eyes. Heavenly Hand Power. Uchiha Tobu and the broken stone under Hyuga-chan's feet switched places, and slapped the top of Hyuga-chan's head with a grim expression. The same technique as the second Jinchuriki column Sun. But it's just optional in front of me. Hyuga-chan used space teleportation, appeared behind Uchiha Tobu, and hit Uchiha Tobu with a brain crash. This brain collapse is extraordinary. After a crisp explosion, Uchiha Tobu fell to the ground and passed out. It's so fragile, you dare to fight with me even with this little strength, just wipe your neck and commit suicide. Hyuga-chan stepped on his body and sneered. Gamamaru was already breaking out in a cold sweat. Where did pervert come from? His strength was simply indescribable. Kick kicked Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Another kick leveled a Six Paths level combat power, and then a joke-like brain collapse, and another one was brought down. I can sense the fear in your heart, just wipe your neck and commit suicide. Be happy, what's the point of living for an old guy? Hyuga-chan looked directly at Gamamaru and said. Gamamaru was silent. Even if Hyuga-chan showed such strength, he would not give up. There is still hope in hard work, but if you give up, there is nothing left. Hyuga-chan looked at the silent old toad and didn't say anything. He was just kidding. If the old toad really wanted to commit suicide, Hyuga-chan would try to stop it. Although this old toad looks very old, but its vitality is amazing, Hyuga-chan will not let it go. Even if you want to die, you have to drain your worth before letting you die. This is Hyuga-chan's rule. Slug Immortal, his physical skills are too strong. One punch and one kick has great power, you can only come. Gamamaru said to Slug Immortal. The body of the Slug Immortal can reduce the damage of taijutsu, which can also be regarded as soft and strong. My fighting power is not strong. Even if I can resist his physical skills, I am not his opponent. Slug Immortal shook his head. The slug's attack ability is very lacking, and it basically relies on the corrosive mucus it spit out to attack. If you go up to fight Hyuga-chan, wouldn't that be looking for abuse, and the Slug Fairy is not stupid. At the same time, the Slug Fairy is also very unhappy with Gamamaru, feeling that this old toad is not a good thing. It is worse than that sinister white snake. Gamamaru is not angry without fooling the Slug Fairy. After so many years, no one is a fool. Hyuga-chan smiled coldly, kicked out a huge air cannon, and the invisible air cannon bombarded Gamamaru with strong air pressure. Gamamaru was shot several hundred meters before he stopped, blood spilled from his body, and he looked extremely miserable. Although it looks miserable, in fact, Gamamaru didn't suffer too much damage. He had a rough skin and thick flesh, plus amazing resilience, and the treatment of slugs, but he recovered after a while. Where's that guy Otsutsuki Hagoromo? Could it be that he ran away? Hyuga-chan said with a frown. His kick just now was really powerful, but it was impossible to kill Otsutsuki Hagoromo. As long as he didn't die, he could recover quickly with his 6 paths level resilience. Even if you run away, as long as you don't run out of this world, I will catch you back, so I'll take care of you guys now. Hyuga-chan's face turned cold, and there was a hint of seriousness in his expression. In an instant, he came to the head of the slug fairy, stretched out his hand and pressed it on the head of the slug fairy, and shouted loudly. The slug immortal's chakra and vitality rushed towards Hyuga-chan frantically, just when the slug immortal was shocked and wanted to split into countless small slugs to escape, the boundless gravity pulled him back. When Gamamaru saw the slug immortal in danger, he hurried to help. The extremely powerful sage art energy formed a light cannon in Gamamaru's mouth and hit Hyuga-chan. This move looks a lot like Tailed Beast Bomb, but it's much more powerful than Kyubi, 9 Tails Tailed Beast Bomb, and probably comparable to 10 Tails, Tailed Beast Bomb. The face of this move, Hyuga-chan did not evade, and used the Super Shinra Tensei Almighty Push to directly bomb the attack into the sky. Using Tomo at the same time, endless light bullets fell like a heavy rain, allowing Gamamaru to evade and resist the attack, unable to interfere with him. Without Gamamaru, who was in the way, Hyuga-chan ignored the resistance of the slug fairy, devouring the sage art chakra in his body, and the huge vitality. Of vitality, it is estimated that the combination of Gamamaru and the white snake immortal cannot be compared with the huge slug immortal. Under the scouring of the majestic vitality, Hyuga-chan's strong physical fitness, which can already defy the sky, showed a slight increase. After a few minutes, the slug fairy died. The original huge body was now only a piece of skin. A gust of wind blew, and now there is no skin. Gamamaru looked horrified. He didn't expect such a vicious ninjutsu. Thinking of Slug Immortal's painful appearance, Gamamaru shuddered. Hyuga-chan raised his head, looked at Gamamaru and said, "One has already died, it's your turn next." Gamamaru shuddered, thinking of the scene where he had foreseen his tragic death, and was even more frightened in his heart, while constantly cursing Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the bastard, for leaving them behind and running away. Gamamaru looked at Senju Pingfang and Uchiha Tobu who were lying on the ground, and then looked at the white snake immortal who was pressed and beaten by the wooden clone in the distance, with a look of despair on his face. The slug immortal has a much stronger survival ability than him, and he didn't die tragically in the hands of Hyuga-chan. Gamamaru has no confidence to escape in the hands of Hyuga-chan.